Okay, we're live. Everyone, welcome to Masculine Geek number 100. And as the universe and luck and fortune would have it, it is the last Wednesday of the year of 2020. This is the last Masculine Geek 2020 broadcast. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. So thank you, everyone who's filtering into the chat, everyone who will be listening and or watching later. Thank you for joining us for this momentous occasion. And we got some familiar faces here. TJ is joining us. And TJ will always be a masculine geek. And I don't know who let this sunglass motherfucker in, but you all know Nick.
I don't even really want to be here.
I know. He got done cleaning out his sock drawer, and then that was it. So what was tomorrow night? Bull Rush. Why would a Masculine Geek Wednesday broadcast be on Thursday?
Well, there is that question, but the more important question, where did you get these cigars that you sent me and Nick? Because these are phenomenal. Oh my God.
Really good, dude. Really
good.
I would buy a box.
Hell yes, so would I. These are phenomenal.
So he sends them to you two fuckers and leaves TJ and I totally out in the cold. No cigars, nothing.
No love, just like Aaron Clary.
Pretty much. I appreciate the thought. Maybe it was the thought, Boris. Maybe you thought about sending them, and then he's like, "Nah, my thought is good enough." That's too funny. What's up, Bit? James Streisand is.
God, these guys are. This is so smooth.
Yeah.
It's got such a great aroma, a great taste to it. This is a fantastic cigar.
I mean, there's literally no bite to it at all.
No, there's no harshness to this, not at all. This is amazing.
But it's got really solid flavor, and I mean, it's. I don't know what he's putting in here, but.
Yes, Bit. That we did have one. In fact, it went for a little under 8 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got to work tomorrow, so I won't be staying on that fucking long tonight. That's for
sure.
No,
we're still going to keep this around 2 hours. I mean, I know I said marathon, but that's just.
You guys want to see something cool?
Yeah, let's see something cool. Oh, cool.
Yeah. This is the only peated Irish whiskey in existence.
Let me put you on
full screen.
Full screen here.
Yeah.
Connemara.
Wow.
Yeah, Connemara.
That's
so
on a scale of 1 to 10, how PT is it?
It's not as strong as I would say a Scotch, traditional Scotch, but so it's got that smoothness of an Irish whiskey, but it's got that peated smell. So it's I'm not a big fan of Scotch, to be honest. It just doesn't do much for me, but I do like the combination. That was a Christmas gift from my cousin. So, cuz, thanks. It's good. Like it.
Cool. Nice. Very cool. What are you drinking, James? You got some bourbon there?
I've got 4 Rose bourbon, and this is my first time trying it. This is very smoky, which I was not expecting.
Nick, you're smoking a cigar, but what are you sipping at?
The drink is Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace. Oh, okay.
Buffalo Trace bourbon in my Snoopy mug.
I mean, if you're going to drink that, you might as well do the whole Snoopy mug thing.
This was the mug that Nick Jr. used to drink hot chocolate out of when he was a little kid. So like this is the time of the year I get sentimental for about 11 hours.
No.
Oh, that's
Is this when you're going to start power blogging and power dadding? Is that what this is going to turn into?
He's going to start weeping is what's going to happen. He's just uncontrollable.
Look, my life's an open book. I put, pictures of my kids on the internet because I'm just keeping it real. People who don't like that are just, they become caricatures of themselves and they just need to lash out at somebody normal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how normal you are, but hey, sure. Who the hell?
Four Roses was what Faulkner liked to drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good whiskey. I like it.
It is. It's hard to find around here right now. All the like Blanton's and Four Roses, and there's several others of the really more top shelf bourbons around here. They sell out as soon as the store gets them in. They're hard to find.
So I got lucky with this one. Is I went to a smaller store in Echo in order to pick it up, and I'm like, well, they're gonna have something. They're gonna have something in here that usually sells out because not enough people go there. It's what I thought, and then I go in there, and people like there's a few exotic things where they only have one of them on the shelf, and people just walked in, started grabbing them. 5 people walked in at the same time as me. This is like the size of this is like smaller than a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. It must be New Year's.
What is how popular is bourbon up in the Northeast? Is it as popular as it is down here?
Probably not as, but it has a significant presence. Yes.
It's popular here in the West too, out here in the Rocky Mountains. So
yeah, I remember
it's
watching.
Not popular for me, but it's popular here in Utah.
Watching what's his face, Nick Ricada going off it. He'll usually be sampling and drinking liquors during his shows and stuff like that. And bourbon makes a frequent appearance. He's off in Minnesota.
All right.
Oh, he's neighbors with Aaron then. All right.
He is.
There's a good thing to be. Oh shit! What are you drinking, Rob?
Beer.
Awesome. I wasn't. Well, I suppose I figured that, but I wasn't sure which one. It's either that one or the Miller Lite. Was it Miller Life?
Miller High Life.
Miller High Life. Yeah. Thank you, Tempest, for the $5. Happy New Year to you as well.
Yep.
Happy New
Here's to a year of social upheaval and degeneracy. Fuck these masks.
Absolutely. Fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
I was in the grocery
speaking of which,
store.
All right, hang on. Nick, go first.
I was in the grocery store walking down the aisle, and of course, I was probably the only person in the store not wearing a mask. And this woman and her little kid started up the aisle. They were both wearing masks, and when they saw me, she stepped back and she yanked her kid out of the aisle, way off to the side, and put her arms around him and held him close to her while I came out of the aisle and took a left and walked past him.
Jesus Christ.
And I looked her in the eye the whole time because I just knew she wanted to say something, and I don't know what it was, but she just kind of looked at me when I went by, and she shook her head.
You should have went like
Frankenstein. Yeah.
brains, children, brains.
Or do like one of those retard hands and just drool at the mouth and shit and wander around. Yep. All right, TJ, you're next.
Yeah, I got a new shirt in the mail.
Oh, is that what the George Washington rebel scum?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to wear that around, but I actually was going to mention when I go into stores, and I've said this in the past, but when I go into stores and I'm not wearing a mask, there will be kids who will look up and like, how can I put this? Where they think it's almost like being the rebel, which you are being, but they're almost like they know what's going on. They know it's all nonsense, but the adults are saying we're living in a world. We're living in South Park is what we're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like South Park throughout the country, where the adults are all these these idiots, and the kids have more common sense than the adults.
It's definitely a one long protracted South Park episode. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
I've seen that too. I've gone by little groups of, mom and the kids, and I walk by and the kids are just looking at me while I'm walking by, like, they just saw a Yeti or something.
I mean, it's funny how just not doing something weird, putting a mask on over a non-public, a fake public health crisis, is a good way to just stand out. And I don't know, like it's so surreal, but I mean, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been said a million times.
Right.
You're going to stand out because they could actually see your face for one, the lower half of your face.
Well, no joke. Well, no, that's what some people have told me. It's like their kids have not seen a person's face, or at least a lot of people's faces, in a long time. So I don't know. I would tell, what I'd tell if I had a kid right now? I'd say, son, not only are you not wearing a mask, but you need to go pick on kids who wear the mask. Like, you need to go, like, assert yourself. Say, yeah, I'm going to be king of the mountain. Like, I'm part of the cool kid club. We don't wear masks because masks are for dorks and dweebs and like the losers, right? And then you form a clique in your class and like, yeah, I don't talk to kids who wear a mask, right? And then you just that's how you do it. You just be like, yeah, just make fun of them, And if anybody makes a complaint about it, just say, yeah, I'll beat you up. I'll come within 6 feet, Also,
I'll fucking cough on you
back home. Yeah.
I'll break social distancing on you, and
right. I'll fucking get close to you and cough on you, you motherfucker.
All boys need to do is just make fun of other boys for wearing a panty on their face. I mean, that would do it right there.
Face diaper. Face diaper. Yep.
And then the kids will stop wearing it, and because what are other parents going to do? And then, of course, you say that you're like, yeah, don't judge.
They're going to beat the shit out of them. Is what they're going to do. The reality of the situation is they're going to smack the shit out of them.
Now, that's possible. Well, they're kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
There is a social component to this, of course, which, I mean, it's all social at this point. I remember I was going to the day job and I forgot my mask as I was walking into Wawa, just off the cuff. I'm like, go and grab my coffee. I got like a weird look or two, but besides that, I didn't realize it. It didn't feel like anything was different by the time I got back to my car. Nobody said anything. It was just like, oh. Which is so weird because in certain parts of the country, and I would expect in New Jersey, if someone was going to be nuts and go insane over somebody forgetting this, it would be in New Jersey, maybe second to New York or California.
Yeah, there's been a few incidents.
They just calm down.
Most people were just tired of it. Now it's just like it's so habit that most people are putting the mask on out of the habit. It's become the new normal for them in their daily routine. And on a gut level, they know the entire thing is bullshit. So when they see someone without the mask, it's like, oh yeah, I don't really need mine either, but yeah.
What do you think? It's like an "I wish I could be that guy" kind of sort of thing.
I think some of it is that. Yeah, some of it is that.
A lot of it is why does he get to break the rules and I don't? Because I'm not a pussy.
Exactly. So,
cheers, folks.
Cheers.
Hey, Red Crusader.
Hide that from Karen Clary.
yeah, right. Speaking of that, I should probably invite his dumbass.
No.
You did.
Black Label Logic said Happy New Year. What?
Happy New Year, buddy.
Did I add him to the email list?
Who?
TJ?
You put it in a certain Twitter group that.
Oh, our D&D Twitter. Yeah. So if he sees it, he sees it. Whatever.
Yeah, you already sent it.
The one where
fucker can't see it. That's his problem.
Well, he was it a DM or a text? I think it was a text. Yeah, he text messaged me. Oh, we got D&D tonight, right? No, Aaron, we don't. How many times do I have to say it's January 6th? It's next Wednesday.
Seeing what you should have said is yes, Aaron. Yes, we have D&D tonight.
We have D&D tonight at 12 midnight.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the link.
I'm going to send you the itinerary.
Wait for the link. I want you to stay up and wait for the fucking link.
God.
Fucking stupid. So the D&D games are going. They're our most popular and most viewed. I think we have close to 1,000 views.
Really?
On our last game, yeah. It's like it's like 8 something, almost 900.
I couldn't believe that one guy came in the chat talking crap. I'm like, this is probably the most unsoy boy like D&D stream you'll ever see in your life.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I can promise you it was the disgruntled ex.
Possibly.
It was probably
definitely.
Somebody who's got beef with. Yeah, I just booed him.
Yeah, no, we've got good moderators. You guys know what to do with idiots like that. I would say the first infraction, put them in timeout, which is
no. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. First offense is the ban hammer because they're just going to come back and do it again.
Well, what I mean by that is, well, TJ, you did put him in a timeout, and he went away. So that's one consideration. But what I mean is, depending upon the context of the infraction, as Rob says, sometimes things are taken out of context. You're like, oh, that guy's trolling when he's really not. So that's it's as a mischievous first thing to do. If you want to put someone in timeout, that's fine. If they're really being a complete blatant asshole, then yes, ban them. I agree with Rob.
That dude was being a complete.
That's what I'm saying. Give him the ban hammer. Fuck him.
Yeah, someone like that. Exactly. Someone like that. That's fine.
Let him burn. Let him burn.
Or not, as the case may be.
Sometimes we banned hosts from our own show. We banned Bull Rush once. So
I heard about that. Yeah.
You gotta have a firm pimp hand.
We don't need them hoes.
We're not gonna tolerate shit from trollops, nor are we gonna do it from panelists.
By the way, James, I think I'm gonna join you here. I got some of mine.
Excellent. All right. Well, like I said, this is my first time drinking it, so we both get to enjoy it.
So you do like it then? That's good.
I've looked. This is my first taste, and I'm enjoying it. I really am.
And this is the beginning of the end as he slowly drinks and gets inebriated over the course of this broadcast.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Red Crusader, you might want to change your name up. Otherwise, you're going to be forever known as Red Cunt.
What's up, Red Cunt?
I am the Red Cunt. I will own it.
It's kind of a cool name, actually. And you've got the red light on in the background, so there you go.
What's up, you red cunt?
You're either doing old school photographs or you're running a brothel.
How about both?
Either way,
you could be doing both
nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, that could be a good strategy for getting laid. If you live someplace where a lot of dudes won't bang their chicks when they're on the rag, you could be the guy that just call up Red Cunt. He'll come and fuck you.
There you go.
Right in the pussy.
We got threats from the chat. Bull Rush is talking tough over there.
That's right. So, Nick, do you want to talk about the latest episode that dropped? Last night at like 2 a.m?
Awesome stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
The latest issue of Punch Riot.
Yeah, we might as well talk about some current things and things that are going to be in the works while we're end of year shit.
The latest issue dropped last night about 2 o'clock in the morning. It actually, I had a lot. There was a lot more content that could have gone in there, but it was from people who've never published with us before. So I kind of wanted the final issue of the year of the volume to be like, people who'd been in all year long, or at least for a while. and so I kind of limited it to that. It still ended up being a 20-page issue, which I consider a double issue, because I am going to just one issue a month from here on out for a while, just because it frees me up to do more things. And with Punch Riot Theater getting cranked up, I want to have some time to put into that as well. So the Punch Riot issues going forward will probably drop toward the end of the month, be one issue, but it'll be a pretty substantial issue. It'll be pretty thick. That's what she said.
Yeah, I'm actually working on something for the next issue whenever I get around to finishing it. But again, good essay coming up.
That'd be great. Well, I thought you're and you guys, if you haven't looked yet, go read TJ's essay on chivalry in there called Lost Brotherhood, which was a really good take and a little bit different than most people. Even most people who are debunking chivalry don't always take it from this angle. So it was really good, interesting.
Yeah, I got really frustrated with the whole debates going on, where I felt like people were kind of missing the point. But I was also reading this book about the actual period when it existed and how different it was from what people thought. But it was actually kind of funny how I was reading this book. It's called The Greatest Night. It's about William Marshall. And one of the things I found really funny about this book is, if you watch the film A Knight's Tale, it was supposed to be this kind of, not really, it wasn't supposed to be serious history about that period. It was more of like a Gen Xer interpretation of that period. But I'm reading this book, and there's example after example of where the stuff that you watch in this movie actually happened in real life. So like tournaments were genuinely a lot like what they were depicted like in the film, except the audience was more upper class. It wasn't a lot lower class. But some of the scenes, like the opening scene where Heath Ledger's character gets his helmet bashed in and he can't take it off to accept his reward, that actually happened to a knight in this book, where they're trying to find him to give him the award for first place, and he's in this blacksmith shop trying to get this helmet off his head because the guy's lance had like blunted it. They also like could sign these deals, like, you know how like you have free agents within football? They had the same thing where you could sign as a free agent, or you could sign on with a team, and you would share the results of the victories that you won or whatever. But you would split it by working together. So it was really, for a time period, it was like professional sports, and if you're really good at it, you were kind of treated like a sports celebrity and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really interesting to see how little things have changed in history, but also how much things have actually changed because of the way that their lives were very much different. But a lot of the social dynamics has not. We've merely changed the format, but the way that we still love sports. They loved sports back then, and they still did all that kind of stuff. But actually, my essay that I'm working on now is going to be related to this, but it's not going to be dealing with any of that stuff. But it's going to concern the same kind of topic.
That's great. Yeah, that's great, especially because I've got plenty of people submitting fiction, and that's great. But what I'm trying to do is get more nonfiction in there. And right now, MT White, sends me an essay for every issue, but it'd be great to have, more people sending in nonfiction, because I think that's an area that needs to balance out the nonfiction a little, and then more art and cartoons, and I think we'll be good. So yeah, I think that was your essay was great. MT's was great. There's this thing called laser dicks in there. I'm still not sure about, but
dude, whenever I hear that, I laugh so hard.
this young, enthusiastic, wide-eyed, guy who just really wants a break, and I just, you feel like you're kicking a puppy if you turn him down. So
I know it's. I wake up every morning thinking that myself.
It makes me.
We were talking before the show started about. I was telling Vince how Laserdix is really great because there's so many. Because of the way he did the setup for everything, there's so much you can just pull into that. out of the blue that you don't have to explain how it got there. You can just, throw something wacky in there and it works. And so we're looking forward to. I thought Chapter 3 was like the best yet, and Chapter 4 sounds like it's going to be pretty fire. So
there's going to be a lot of laser battles with slope.
For $5 a month, you're getting about $500 worth of entertainment. So we're really stretching your entertainment dollar. So.
You really are. It for the amount of entertainment you do get, and the tomfoolery, and just overall wholesome degeneracy. $5 is a paltry sum to pay, and if you don't go read and sign up for Punch Right, you're a dork. So there you have it.
Plus, when we finally have our Vegas not writing conference, all of the early subscribers are going to get their hooker bills paid by the magazine. So you need to sign up early.
No blow, just hookers.
All the above.
Bring your own.
Listen, we got to do it at a budget. So they're coming with an obligatory marriage contract.
Oh, I thought you was,
a cheap
And a
hooker is
20-year
better than a cheap
presidential
coke.
bid.
I thought we were getting hookers from the IHOP or something.
Well, the hookers are going to be cheap. I'm not saying they're going to be good.
They come with pancakes.
No, they hop because they only have one leg.
Oh man,
That's bad.
too little Ohio in here.
Right.
But no,
I was
anyway.
go ahead.
Nick, I really love the theater, man. That Punch Right theater. That was great, man.
Oh,
Good
thanks.
stuff. Yeah.
Thank the biggest dicks are all in here. Thank them.
Yeah, I loved all your performances. That was great. Jawohl, Rob.
Jawohl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good, yeah. No, I was gonna say that I just recently watched the entire both seasons of The Mandalorian, and I was really impressed with the show. Really enjoyed it. I felt like it was what Star Wars should have been, like what they should have done with Star Wars for the last 30 years. But it also got me thinking about my own idea for a miniseries. And right now I'm writing it as Star Wars miniseries. But right now I'm writing the whole concept out as like a completely unrelated novel, because I just have the feeling that I could write a really great pilot episode for this story, and they're just because I'm not on the inside crew. But I understand what they did, how they made this successful. They took a motif or a genre, the Western, they took an archetype, the man with no name, they stuck him in space. So that's what you do with Star Wars from now on. Like you just, like when the notice in the Mandalorian series, it's always in these outskirts. It's never in an actual urban area for the most part. It's almost always in the middle of nowhere. It's always in a desert. Like Tatooine's it's the equivalent of the desert from, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's so many cinematic shots that were clearly from a Western film or something like that. And even the Mandalorian's voice is something like Clint Eastwood. So I thought, okay, well, if you're going to do that, it works. But if you're going to do another miniseries, that's the template. But, I just think if I was on their Disney Star Wars team, I would actually take the time to do that. But I thought I'm better off almost at this point just writing my own science fiction novel using the same template and just do my own thing. But I don't know. It's
I
guess what
totally
were your guys' thoughts?
I totally agree with you, TJ. They really took like a space Western kind of feel this time around. And, it's been in the popular media for a long time. The first instance of like a live action situation would be Firefly, right? People love that,
right.
And it canceled so quickly. So it's been around for a while, and I'd like to see it continue, not just in Star Wars, but maybe some other people can pick that up and get it going. Maybe you can.
You know, the other thing I noted that they did really well, and I think that the screenwriter, director, whoever he is, took to heart, is they really kept the CG down to a minimum. So Yoda was an animatronic puppet or something like that, but like the original Yoda was a puppet, so they made a puppet for much of this stuff. A lot of the characters are real life, like they're not CG. Whereas in the prequels, like everything, including their clothes half the time, is CG. Just everything was CG. And so it has that, it feels much more like the original trilogy, which I enjoyed. So I was like, okay, great. They understand that if you're gonna do this, like you use CG only when you have to, but you don't use it all the time. Like Peter Jackson made the same mistake with the Hobbits. Like after he did Lord of the Rings, he's like, "Oh, great, let's do the Hobbits. We're gonna make everything CG. Everything in this entire movie is gonna be CG. It's gonna be green screen to death." And so that was one of the disconnects I had with the Hobbit film. At least the first, I think they weren't that great. But whereas I'm watching the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I mean, most of the characters are real life, like the Uruk-hai, the orcs, the goblins. They're all real. Like they're people dressed up in costumes or whatever, and they did a good job with it. But whereas you watch some of these other films, and it's like you're watching the cutscene of a PlayStation 2 game.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my well, among other problems with The Hobbit. Yes.
I agree with you. I think I've always said what made the first couple of Star Wars movies great and so watchable, in addition to decent writing, was the fact that it felt like it was taking place in physical space, that, you actually get dirty, you actually get sweaty and all that kind of stuff. And then, once they got on with the rest of them, it was more like you were watching a cartoon almost. And I saw a couple of the Mandalorians, but it had that same kind of feel, and the writing was just way better than it was in a lot of the prequels and certainly the most recent Star Wars movies. It's amazing what good writing will do for, it covers up a lot of ills. Yeah.
You know what else I noticed, and you'll probably find it as you watch the seasons, there's no politics. There's no political message in any of these stories. They are all just, I mean, I'm assuming this guy understood what he was doing. It wasn't unknowing or unconscious, or subconscious or whatever. But the original Star Wars films there was no politics in them. They were just stories. They weren't meant to be reflective of the politics of the day. The Mandalorian, you would have no idea what time period they were set in. What time period they were filmed in, because they don't have any politics in them at all. There's no like, oh, this is allegorical for what's going on in society now. Whereas you watch the new trilogy that came out, the Force Awakens and The Last Social Justice Warrior and The Rise of Mary Sue Skywalker, like they're clearly identity politics driven. They're clearly trying to they're deconstructionists. They're deconstructing the Star Wars saga.
Well, apparently that's all supposed to turn around here. What's his name? I think he was part of the whole Legends kind of thing. Got back into it, and they're starting to direct things in a new direction. And everything that was in the last Just Award, that stuff's starting to basically be non-canon, which...
Yes, I saw that video where they're really pushing to make the new movies non-canon, so that way and I think The Mandalorian, I'm not going to spoil the end of The Mandalorian for people who haven't watched it, but if you watch it, you understand it ends on a...
Spoil it. Fuck them.
Let them burn. Let's do it.
There is, this is a spoiler. You don't want to hear it, turn it off.
Close your ears, go la 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 la. Okay.
Yeah. So at the end of The Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker appears, and the Mandalorian gives little baby Yoda over to Luke Skywalker. And so that's indicating that he's going to train him and he's going to become a Jedi and all that kind of stuff. And it ends on a much more optimistic and hopeful note than the future Star Wars movies, because none of them involve the Baby Yoda. Like the new trilogy doesn't do that. So I think that it's almost a repudiation of the new trilogy, where they're saying, no, Luke is not a failure and he's not a villain, or he's not a complete loser. The new movies were so awful in that regard, where the way that they treated Luke Skywalker and the way that they portrayed him. So I felt like that was almost this push, because if the Mandalorian's that popular, if it becomes popular enough that within the Star Wars, Lucasfilm or LucasArts or whatever, or Disney, they can say, look, the Mandalorian is far more popular, and they can use that to make a moral case for why that should be canon and the new movies should not. Like that's not what happened. Now, I understand for people who don't care about Star Wars, this doesn't mean anything. And in the grand scheme of things, does it matter? Not terribly, but it does matter in one sense. It's going to determine the direction of future movies that are made. Because if they say we're rejecting what was clearly a failure, that means that they understood the mistakes they made. And it means that they understand that The Mandalorian was a turn away from that, but a turn in the right direction. So what it means for people like myself is I'm actually willing to give some of their new movies, I might be interested in seeing them. I might be interested in watching the TV shows. Whereas before, prior to this, that's why I didn't watch The Mandalorian. I was just like, I'm done with Star Wars. I've seen what I need to see, and I'm not giving them any more money or attention or my time. And then so many people were raving about this TV show or this online show, that I finally decided to do that, and I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that somebody understood what to do with Star Wars.
Rob,
tracking the influence of new quality media, even if it's by the parent company is this awful, the Devil Mouse. Sure, yes, but tracking the fact that these people can take back this media, this IP, and turn it into something that is valuable. It's good storytelling. This is something that you could show your kid. This is something that you can that's going to inspire people and be entertaining as their years go on. Like that's a good thing, And fuck all the people who are like, oh, it's Star Wars. Like, what's this nerd shit? It's like, yeah, fuck you. You ignore the culture for 60 years and look where it got you. The people paying attention will take it from here.
The funny thing is, The Mandalorian probably is the newest thing that a lot of newbies are really getting into, because it's so good and it's so accessible, right? So
I think the thing also about it is it came out at a time when a lot of like the younger generation has never seen Star Wars, or they didn't. For them, it's new. It's a new thing. But I think that it makes me much more optimistic about future entertainment, because it's an example of, like, I'd say what they would have made in the 1980s. Like, this is something that they would have made in the 1980s. And they did a very good job with it. And my hope is that they keep, I was watching one of the makings of, and they had all the directors in there, and they also had Kathleen Kennedy. I was like, what is this witch doing there? Like, I understand she's probably there just, for symbolic reasons. But I'm pretty sure the directors are like, yeah, we prefer you just never come near this series again, or this art form. James, when people say that they don't care,
stroke the fuck out and die.
It's no longer be gone.
Exactly. People say like what exactly? They say it's nerdy or whatever, and I'd say, there is the Star Wars dork and dweeb who deserves to be made fun of because their life's tied up too much into it. But the same could be said for a lot of other stuff, where
I'm going to go back to my woodworking shop. Look, I made another trinket.
Well,
There's
that's
roller in every fandom.
well, that's it. TJ and I talked about this. I think on one of the Masculine Geek life broadcasts. It's the degree and severity of the obsession in said project or hobby that is the issue. Someone that makes it their life.
Right.
Yeah. It's just an inspiration for your life and something that you use as a platform to make yourself happier and improve yourself. Or is this a replacement for
exactly? It's almost a bit of a crutch.
Right.
Well, it's like with Peter Cushing. No one imagine going into his house, seeing him got all the stuff all over the floor, his figurines, and saying, "Oh, what a dork!" He'd just turn around, and just look at you, and be like, he'd have just smiled. Peter Cushing would have just smiled. He'd have given that British yes, what an idiot, and then just kept going on.
He probably would have completely disarmed him and tried to rope them in and explain and show what he was doing and show his love for his war games. And that's the thing. It's like that wasn't his identity. Even actor was not his identity, and I think that's the poignant part. And that's also part of being a masculine geek. It's like there's no one thing that's our identity.
Right.
That we have a personal stake in it, where if something were to happen, we just lose our shit and go go nuts. So I think that's key.
Right.
And that's where you get what Aaron always complains about when he goes out to hobby shops and tries to sit down and play Dungeons and Dragons with spurgs and retards. I mean that's
right. But
well, there's the bad body height, the bad hygiene, of course. There's always that transcends decades, because that was shit that happened when we were going to conventions back in the late 80s, early 90s. So yeah,
it's amazing how much better you do with chicks when you take a shower every now and then, huh?
Everyone's
right.
No, I would say also it's an issue of, I mean, I'm pretty sure Peter Cushing, you have to take some of that stuff seriously, but you don't take it too seriously, if that makes sense. Where there's guys who take their craft it's not a joke to them, but at the same time they don't prioritize it over other things that are more important. For example, somebody yeah, exactly. A guy who's not hygienic. They don't take care of their house. Their house is crumbling. The car is broken. They don't have a car. They've got Cheeto dust all over their chest and face and scraggly beard. But, they managed to become a level 47 swordsman in some RPG game online. And that's pretty much all they have to discuss. I mean, that's one thing. But then Peter Cushing could have said, I played war game. I've killed Dracula and I blew up a planet. What have you done? Right?
Yep.
It's the same with, I think, Christopher Lee. It probably the same with Tolkien. Tolkien never struck me as being what would you call it? He was more of a scholarly guy, but he had also been on the front lines of World War I and all that kind of stuff. So I think
literally in the trenches.
Yeah, I think that for whatever the faults of society 100 and something years ago, I think that it allowed for a greater range of male interests and stuff. Whereas now we've just part of the whole reason Masculine Geek exists is because we've cornered off a lot of stuff and said, hey, if you're a real man, you're not interested in this stuff. And I was like, well, wait a minute, who are you to decide that? Is there a book on this or something?
All right.
Now, if there is, we could make one.
That's right. What's up, Red?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up?
We have another Red. We have Red Cunt and Red Sings the Blues in the today.
I just got the link. I was actually gonna read a book that I'm gonna actually be reviewing on my channel.
Oh, okay.
Stop by, say hello.
Cool. Well, yeah, we had talked about that on the Instagram. I was like, oh, let me send you the link via Instagram.
Yeah.
So cool.
Instagram.
The Exchangeogram, see? Well, welcome to the show. You want to give a very brief introduction to who you are and what you do?
Well, I am again. My monocle is a man behind the mic on Red Sings the Blues. It is a podcast by young men for young and old men, whomever. Surprisingly, I've been on here for almost about 8 months. I got 800 subscribers. Red Sings. So hey, look, listen, man. I always talk about books, and we're gonna get real deep into the research on like topics that regarding us and stuff like that. So I got big plans for myself. I got places that I want to be, things that I want to do with this podcast, and have fun.
Cool. And where can everyone find you?
I'm gonna leave a link to my channel, Red Sings the Blues on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll just put it in there.
Yeah, you throw it in on the YouTube channel itself, or put it in the private chat, and I can do it for you. Whatever, does not matter. So Rob and I were both guests on Red's show. So
yeah,
that was a fun discussion.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah, well, the thing is too is that I don't want to be talking about just all this red pill stuff, and I want to actually talk to like real people. I think a lot of people in this space have I think the whole red pill talk about women and all that stuff, those days are over. We need to really start, I think, having a human approach on it.
Yes.
Really getting on how we talk to each other as men, because the thing about it is that I see a lot of people saying that here in this space that it's going mainstream. I'll say yes and no to that. The reason why I'll say yes and no to that is the philosophy is getting out there. Don't get me wrong. The philosophy, the quote unquote Crimson Capsule philosophy is getting out there. But I would say that we also took an L on this because of how the manosphere is regarding, the divisions of the manosphere and how we're dealing with certain things as men and stuff like that. So, trying to fix what it has been. I mean, I'm not saying I'm trying to fix what's broken, but at least try to, do it in my own way. You know what I'm saying?
Doing something fresh with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
something positive with it.
Yeah. That's kind of your idea with all this, isn't it, Vince?
Correct.
Like a fresh new tilt on it all, right?
Well, I can't say it's a fresh new because we were never part of it. We weren't part of the manosphere. Yes, we looked at life through a red pill lens because we've all come from that relative area, but we weren't manosphere. We weren't quote unquote red pill, all that stuff. I wanted Masculine Geek to be something that was accessible to all guys, regardless of age, after they woke up and realized, hey, this is how the world really works. All right. And not to get mired in anger, but to move forward and say, okay, well, these are the things I can do after the red pill. This is how I can comport my life and continue forward and make it something grand and exciting and have a love for life. I mean, first and foremost, I think a Masculine Geek, he has to have a curiosity for life and a love of life.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then, I mean, that's any man, but particularly for a Masculine Geek. Masculine Geek wears many hats. He does many things. He's an interesting dude. I mean, that's what a Masculine Geek is. Like I mentioned before, it's whether he wants to become it or not, he becomes a Renaissance man, and he goes about what he does with quiet dignity. He's not on social media running his mouth. He's not tearing other guys down. He's not comporting himself like he's in 13th grade. And I see a lot of that stuff, and I just sit back and fucking laugh. I'm like, you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah,
and that seems like where you're headed to is like to get away from that kind of blend.
Yeah, well, see, the thing too is that I want to do. I'm trying to I have a plan. See, I also have a contingency plan. I'm trying to. You guys heard of the Roommates podcast?
No,
what's that?
Okay, so there is a podcast called the Roommates podcast. There's a lot of dudes like AMS, Steph is Cold, all those kinds of guys. They're on there, and that podcast is that. But once I get on there and my name is on that vernacular, I can use what I have and take my ass out of out of this manosphere crap. Because the thing about it is that I have my own message that I put out there, and I interview a lot of cool people like Rob and the Masculine Geek. And that's the thing that I want, like I want there to be a humanized version of this type of stuff. We talk about cool stuff, and because the problem is that we're talking about women 24/7. Who has time for all that crap? I don't have to. I'm 25 years old. I got it. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to start my own stuff and get back on my feet. I don't have time for women. And even when I'm successful, quote unquote, I'm still not going to have time for women. And I think, this whole, even when they say, ironically, when they say the red pill isn't about women, they made it clear that it clearly is. And the whole infiltration of the manosphere with women now, and I just see it for really what it is. I'm just like, come on.
I see a lot of people basically hitting a wall and realizing the new stuff before they get pilled, and they climb that wall, they become pilled, and what happens is they hit the next wall and they don't jump that next wall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really a lot of it.
Yeah, it's like when you get big in this space, what are you going to do? What are you going to use that platform then for? To still speak about women? It's just, I mean,
well, that's it. It is like the geek who is completely mired in his hobby, that he has this tunnel vision.
Yeah,
it's the same with the red pill guy that's completely mired in the genre, as it were, and can't see past that in his life. That's what his life becomes. That's all it is. It's to me, it's almost like an addiction.
If you're a professor of math and you're going around and I hear animals screeching in the background. Never mind. If you are a professor of math and something of that sort, and you're teaching at an Ivy League college, that doesn't change after one semester. You don't say, well, what can I do now? It's like you're still going to be teaching math after semester after semester after semester. If you're a student on the and that's fine and appropriate, and it would be weird if you deviated from that. If you are a student, on the other hand, and you kept taking Calculus 1 year after year after year, 4 semesters a year, and just kept doing it, that would be weird. So I don't blame creators necessarily for going off and going over the same thing. That's natural. There's always
no. I wasn't referring to creators at all.
No, I know you're not. I'm trying to get ahead of that. But when it comes to men who are just like sitting there, it's like, well, I'm only watching this content 24 hours a day. I'm like, man, watch something on music.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Yeah, it's not the content creator, because there's a timeline from whence you come in on it. There's always going to be fresh meat, as it were.
Yeah,
the guys are going to gravitate towards that and find that niche because they're hurting, and they realize someone had said, it's like, well, like you said, it's like concerned about what is, not how you want things to be. Waking up and realizing, well, this is how the real world works.
Yeah, but I would say, and that's kind of the thing that I see, and with myself, there's a lot of our generation that is like, if you're probably in high school, college, or even out of college, 2018, somewhere around there, even younger than that, we have a lot of hurt people out there. And the thing is that, look, listen, I get it. You can't fix broken hearts. You can only do but so much with that. And the thing about it is people do things out of emotion. They watch things out of emotion. They are things because of their emotions. They're not things because of their logic. They're not things with their logical mind. They are these things because they are emotionally inept to gravitate towards that. The whole Kevin Samuels debacle, it was all emotional. Everything about it was emotional, including everyone. And the thing about the manosphere too, that I really said, come on, man, like was Rebecca Lynn Pope. The whole thing with Rebecca Lynn Pope crying that Kevin Samuel said, I said, come on, guys, you're really surprised that a woman's crying? Because come on, she's a woman at the end of the day. You guys were cheering her praises. But I even said, too, when I did her video, she's still a woman at the end of the day. We got to come out of that, man. Just because a woman agrees with you doesn't mean that she still isn't a woman.
Agreed.
You can't fall into the MGTOW trap of, all the people speaking for us are now women.
Yeah.
All of our speakers at our events, all of our podcast hosts, all of them are women. Yeah. It's weird. I feel like Paul Elam is outnumbered.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, that was the
what
problem
a strange
with
transition.
that Red Pill documentary. You know, when I watched that Red Pill documentary back in 2016 or whatever it was, I wanted to throw up because everybody was, you know, first of all, all the dudes on there sounded like women. Even though I agreed with them, they still sounded like women in the way they approached it, in their rhetoric, in their complaints. And then to have a woman trying to tell a man's story was doomed from the start.
Yeah.
Welcome, Amos.
But I read Rational Male like 10 times, man. I know this stuff.
No, that's good that you did read Rational Male.
No. I'm just saying, like,
I know.
I've heard that. Like,
yeah,
I read Rational Male 1.5 times. I'm just like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, I watch the content and I go about my life. And then I'll talk to, you know, someone will have an issue or something, and I'll talk to them, and they're like, I read it like 10 times, bro. I get it. I apparently get it a little bit more in some areas than you do, and I've only read it 1.5 times.
Well,
welcome to the Church of Red Pill, right?
Here's the thing that I've actually found out about the Rational Male that I didn't, because I actually read it a second time, and I'm reading a book called The Game. Is
that Neil Strauss?
Yep.
This book right here.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be going over that book pretty soon on my channel. And I'm actually going to be, you know, I'll be going over these books anyway. It's a long time coming. A lot of people haven't done it, but I'm going to do it. You know, it's going to be a lot of hard work. But again, I would say if you haven't read The Game, you wouldn't understand the Rational Male. It's like the chicken came before the egg. This book was already here before the Rational Male. In order to get the Rational Male, you would have to understand The Game. Because guys say that, you know, they don't understand the Rational Male because they don't understand The Game. And I'm not saying, you know, I think that was the missing piece of the Rational Male, because I had questions about the Rational Male. I mean, I'm gonna have those questions answered when I, you know, aim to go up in the ranks of Rollo Tomasi, try to get his, you know, 2 cents about the book and stuff like that, because it is his book. But I kind of, you know, I have questions about even the Rational Male that I didn't seem to understand. But I would say if you haven't read The Game, like, hey, look, listen, go read it, because there are lots of missing things that I didn't understand about the Rational Male until I learned that book.
And it's the one thing that really interested me about that book was just watching mystery just kind of dissolve into craziness.
Oh yeah. I just, you know, surprisingly enough, I just finished that chapter about how when a mystery was what happened to him? He got rejected by a woman that already had a boyfriend, and then when that happened, he just went completely apeshit. It was just like him just saying fuck everything and I'm gonna kill myself and all that other stuff. And to watch Neil Strauss, you know, go for the you know. Look, why am I doing all of your work? And, you know, it was just a shit show after that. Well, you hear that?
I wanted to.
That's TJ. He's making a rattling noise. That's he's.
Sorry. Yeah.
You know how you can't see his one hand.
Oh, yeah. He's operating a vibrator by telegram.
I'll show.
I mean, he's got a robotic arm, I guess.
No.
Yeah, it's connected to the table. No, it's
He's an owl fucker.
You guys
What the hell is an owl fucker?
An owl fucker.
No, gee, you guys are too dorks. No, it's connected to the table, so it shakes. You know, I could install it. Like if I
what?
Well, I ordered one that I thought I could hang from the bookshelf. But anyways,
oh yeah.
No, the point I was trying to get at is the fact that a lot of this stuff has been. You get to the point where you've had the conversations, you understand what you need to do, And the time is to move on and start actually taking action. And this is what I keep emphasizing. And I think what we try to emphasize on the podcast is taking action of some kind, whether it's developing a hobby, developing a craft, developing a passion for something, and focusing on that. I just don't have time to talk about the latest thing that's going on in the world. And incidentally, when I was watching The Mandalorian, that was what really struck home to me, is that The Mandalorian is not really concerned with the politics that are going on in the world around him. He's more concerned with just his interest and scope is very limited to a handful of people that he cares about, but also his own personal, mission or objectives and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I took to heart over the weekend, was just saying, things are going to happen in the empire that we live in, and we should be spending more time thinking about what we're going to do that is better for us. Like, what are we doing that we actually want to do? Getting outraged or upset with what's going on around us really doesn't contribute to anything, unless you have to provide content for something. But even then, it's a beast you have to keep feeding. It's like you're throwing gasoline on a fire, but gasoline burns up really quickly, so you have to keep pouring more and more of it. And it also doesn't attract the kind of people that you want to be around, because they're people who are addicted to outrage highs.
Yeah. That is true.
No, that's true. That's very true.
Oh man.
What the fuck are we talking about?
That was interesting. I came into the Manosphere after reading, or not reading, just watching a bunch of old RSD videos, mostly Julian.
Me too, man.
That right?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It was just some dude shared Julian. I'm like, oh, he's it was one of Julian's videos where he's going into logistics of getting leads at a club and then moving on to like, where's your place to fuck and stuff like that. I'm like, man, this is
like, when you get into it, it's like, whoa, man, this is like next level, man. Right?
Yeah, it's like knocking down
like
all these barriers to fucking somebody tonight, which was a really interesting. It was practically mathematic, which as a self-avowed Spurg was really useful and appealed to me greatly. And then I'm wondering, I didn't know that there were people coming onto the Rational Mail not having gone through the other scene first, because I mean, as you like, the Rational Mail started with he's got to start back on So Suave, got to start back on the in the pickup scene. And that's interesting, coming to that space without having gone through that other space first. The thought had never occurred to me that might change somebody's outlook, but looking back on it and listening to what you're saying, like, that makes total sense.
Yeah. I think, it took a while for me. I was like, there is a missing piece and I'm 25 years old, and it's like, there is a missing piece to this book that I'm not figuring out. And, there was a woman, surprisingly enough, there was a woman, right? And I was talking about this type of stuff, and she said, here's a book that I want you to read. And I was like, what kind of book is it? And it's literally the book that it's The Game by Neil Strauss. She said,
really?
Yeah. She said, it's not a book that I'm, very, and she knew what I was talking about. She knew what, she was talking, because, she's an older lady. We talk about these types of things. She likes my podcast. She likes watching it. And she gave me the book because she was like, well, it sounds almost as if, what you're talking about, I read in this book. And she said, here, take the book. And I really started like going back into the Rational Mail. I have a copy of The Rational Mail, happened. And I started reading the book, and I'm like, wait a second. Going back into my notes that I've actually took in The Rational Mail. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I said, oh, now everything makes sense about the Rational Mail. Now it all makes sense. The prerequisite of and because guys, and I'm not saying that the Rational Mail isn't a good book. It's actually a really good book. But the thing about it is, the missing pieces of the Rational Mail all can be found in the Game by Neil Strauss.
One I would look at too, if you haven't touched it yet, which it's not like fully the space, but kind of, is 48 Lulls. If you're familiar with Green's work,
the 48
Robert Greene. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's another book I'm going to read.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that. It had to be The Game and 48 Lulls that really kind of tumbled me forward, so to say.
Yeah, that's another
Well,
book.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. As far as Rollo's work goes, I think Red, what you're saying, makes a lot of sense. But it makes a lot of sense for people who are younger or don't have a lot of experience either with women or with pickup, because my experience with Rational Male was just the opposite. I read it when I was I was 47.
Okay.
47 when I read it, and I never had serious problems meeting women, getting laid, doing that whole thing. My problems came when it was time to transition that into some sort of longer term engagement, whether it was a short term, friends with benefits, whether it was a relationship, whatever. And so I had, I naturally had good frame through the pickup and, getting laid stage. And then when it came to the relationship time, that's when women were really good at flipping the script on me and somehow, leading me down this path of more blue pill behavior. And so for me, when I read The Rational Male, it totally clicked. And I read the game too, but it was long after I read The Rational Male. And and I think it was because I was already at that point where I never had that, any serious problems meeting chicks, whatnot. But it was the longer term, maintaining that frame and maintaining that, leadership and management going forward. And for me, that's what The Rational Male really helped with. And I think that kind of backs up what you're saying too, because it sort of allowed me to, from a conceptual standpoint, understand what was actually going on, mentally and emotionally, and then be able to come up with some sort of strategy to make things happen the way I wanted them to happen. And I think that's probably true for a lot of the older guys in here who probably worked through the shit about, being able to talk to women and whatnot. But then when it comes to actually maintaining that on a long-term basis, that's where a lot of the older guys that I know end up crashing and burning, which is why I think The Rational Male helps them too.
Yeah. And the thing with it now, in this new world, I guess you want to call it, in this new dating age, is that it's a lot harder to be in a relationship, so to speak. And even if you're in a relationship, is it really a relationship anymore? Because again, we are completely liberated sexually. So the point is now is that, well, we got you either got two options. You can try to have a relationship, not saying you shouldn't be in one, not saying don't be in one, but it's either you are in a relationship and even then you're going to have problems, and or you might as well just be a bachelor for the rest of your days. And even certain guys can't be bachelors for the rest of their days because it's not, for some men it's not even feasible. Like, I mean, go outside and try to pick up 10 women. I trust and believe, for some guys out there, it's a lot harder than you think. And I've been and I say this because I have lived in New York for at least 3 years, and I've just learned that, listen, you got to have something about you and the one thing about it is you got to be a man about your shit. And if you're not a man about your shit, you might as well just pack your bags and go home. Go back home to where you are, because New York is just one of those kinds of places where if you're not prepared, you're gonna get chewed up and spit back out. So that's just how I learned about, just game and stuff like that when I was living in New York. I don't know if you can listen to me.
No, I'm just contemplating what you're saying. I know growing up in Salt Lake, being here, it's definitely a different bubble compared to, say, New York or maybe the Pacific Northwest or Frisco or something like that. And so to kind of back up a little bit, I know my experience, like you guys are talking about, you read Rational Male and then you read the game. I did it in the exact opposite order. I read the game when it first came out, and then I turned around and found Rational Male much later. And so for me, I consider the two books, the two ideas, I guess, the two theories, whatever you want to call it, opposite sides of the same coin. The game was about seduction. It's about picking up girls. It's about getting the girl. And that's one side of the coin. And then Rational Male was the other side of the coin. So seduction to me has always been offense. It's what you need to do to, I guess, get the girl, to attract the girl, to seduce the girl, to get her to show up, get her to get into your bed, whatever else you may be looking at beyond that. And then the Rational Male, the red pill, if you will, what he originally defined it as, which is intergender dynamics or intergender sexual dynamics. The red pill was defense.
Yeah.
It's what to prepare yourself for, what may come up so that you don't end up hanging from a rope or putting a bullet in your head.
Yeah.
Is how I've always looked at the red pill. It's like, it's a defense. It's not a safety net because there are no safety nets in life. You can be the most red-pilled motherfucker on the planet and you can still get snowballed. Women can be assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They can do shit. I don't care who you are and how well you vetted her and yada, yada, so on and so forth. She can throw a curveball at you, and doesn't matter what you did and how you lived your life and whatever your guru told you to do, you're still going to end up fucked. And it's just a matter of simply being like, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to survive it. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get past it. I'm not going to eat a bullet. I'm not going to hang from a rope. I'm not going to do something stupid. Okay. Yeah. And so, you know, maybe this is the generational gap in a way. Because I've been to New York City, but I've never lived in New York. So I don't.
You don't want to do that.
Well, I got along with New York. I've been to New York and I loved it. Okay, I loved New York.
I'm from New Jersey, and it's like, oh God, it's like a worse New Jersey.
Yeah. You know, but I loved New York when I went there, but
yeah, everyone has their own experiences. I'm not trying to.
No. It's all good. I'm just, you know, like I said, Salt Lake is kind of a bubble. It really is, and I'll admit that. Girls here tend to be a little more conservative than maybe in other parts of the country. Definitely from the brief encounter I had with New York. And so, you know, I can't speak for your experience, Red. I can't speak for TJ's experience in the Pacific Northwest other than, well, I've been there too and met some great women there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm of the opinion for myself that you drop me into any state and give me 2 weeks to set up a base of operations, to kind of have a home base, I'm going to find whatever women it is that I'm looking for, whatever they may be, whether it's friends with benefits or something a longer term. And so when it comes to like the idea of relationships, I get what you're talking about, Red. I do. I get it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
But at the same time, I'm looking at it going, that's not been my experience. It's and maybe it's a Utah thing. Maybe that's just where I'm at, where I'm, you know, it may be my age. Yeah. But I've also dated women that are your age.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can have relationships with them. I'm not, I know I'm not the domesticated type because I've played house. I've done it twice and I got similar results from 2 different women. And that to me tells me, what's the common denominator? Well, that would be me.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not the domesticated type, but
Okay.
it wasn't for any lack on the women's part, considering one woman was a year younger than me. The other one was 20 years younger than me.
Okay.
And so I'm not even sure where I'm really going with this, to be honest, other than it all kind of comes down to you.
Yeah.
As the guy, whatever it is. And I think we're all on the same page here. It's not a matter of disagreement. It's just you get to kind of choose what you want your life to be.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And take what the game has to say so that you understand it, that even though it was written back in like the 90s, the wisdom hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Just like the mystery method. Yeah, there's certain things you're not going to be doing today that you would have done back in the 90s when Mystery wrote it. But the general idea of that book still stands to this day. And as far as pickup goes, to me, the Mystery Method was probably the best written book on the subject. Okay. Just like Rollo's book is the best written subject when it comes to not getting yourself zeroed out. So that you're not wanting to hang from a rope or eat a bullet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you get to kind of decide what do you want to do. And as the guy, you know, you hear on the manosphere, the Twitter, all the bullshit, you hear guys, you know, you got to lead. And they're not necessarily wrong. But ultimately, you have to decide as the guy, as yourself, as you're whoever it is that's watching this right now. You have to decide, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want an LTR? Because there's women that do. Do you want to have friends with benefits? Because there's women that do.
Yeah.
Do you, whatever it is you want, you just have to be willing to, one, in my opinion, be honest about it. Be like, look, I'm not looking for long term. I've put in the past, I've put in my profile for dating and whatnot. I'm not Mr. Right. I'm Mr. Right now. And I've had women respond to that. They knew where I was coming from. There was no, well, you know, I don't have to bullshit them. And if anything, they found that very liberating, very refreshing, because it's like, oh my God, you're being honest. You're not bullshitting me. And it's like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to bullshit you. This is what I want. And some women, they're going to be like, yeah, that's not for me. And that's fine. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but you have to be willing to go after whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
If you want to spin plates, then spin plates, but be honest about it.
Yeah.
Don't be apologetic about it. Realize some people, they're going to go away. They're going to fucking walk. They're going to be like, that's not for me. That's not my cup of tea. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Others are going to turn around and be like, okay. And then that's what they're going to do. And you or them may change your minds at any given time.
Yeah.
It is the, where's this going question. It may be you or them. Go ahead, please.
I think, and what you bring up is 100% true. I do not disagree with you on any of that. Where I think this is going nowadays with how people see this, and it kind of goes back to the, you know, the emotional thing that we were just talking about with Vincent, is that everybody has there is an abundance of information out there, but no one is living. They are living through somebody. They are living through a content creator, or they are living through
yes,
and
correct.
Stuff
They're
like
letting
that.
somebody else.
I will agree
them.
with you 110% right there, Red. Absolutely.
They are not living. And what I do on my channel is, it's up to you at this point, because I cannot tell you where to go. I'm not going to tell you what to do, how to go your own way, or go date. Or I'm not telling you what to do. Take the information and get the fuck out. That's all I'm telling you to do.
Do what the fuck you want.
I think that's one of the challenges, is that for a lot of men throughout history, they really didn't have to think about these things, because for most men, society had these institutions that already had the answers for them. It's like they could get involved in all these different organizations. They could get involved in all these different clubs. There were social groups. There was the bowling leagues. There was all these other things, and all that stuff has been removed from men. And so for men, there's a lot of like I'm doing as good as any man can do, but the reality is other men of a certain section of the hierarchy is that they're not used, their type is not used to having to deal with this because they already had that stuff in place. And so I think that that's the difficulty, is understanding also and incorporating the concept of hierarchy. Like there's a lot of men where throughout history, those type of men did what other men told them to do, who had their, I don't want to say best interest, but like they did have to take into account their interests at some point. But now it's at the point where they don't even think about them. And so they're expected to do this stuff on their own, where they didn't really have to think about this stuff throughout history. I mean, if you were a peasant in medieval Europe, you didn't really have to think about a lot of the stuff that we have to wrestle with today. And now that's not to say that they weren't intelligent people, and I'm not saying that a lot of these men are intelligent.
There's a reason, TJ. There's a reason for that. You know what that is?
But
they didn't have any kind of fucking pyramid called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They were too busy trying to fend off the invaders and survive. And there was they didn't have to. There was no like, oh, how do I get the girls and self-actualize?
Well, I think that also, there were also social institutions for the average man in at least the medieval. I'm not trying to sugarcoat these periods or say that there weren't problems, but I just don't think that I'd say that we wrestled with things that are very different. They wrestled with, oh, the Hun are coming to completely wipe out our village, or the barbarian savages are going to come completely annihilate us. That's a problem because we don't have the weapons to defend them. That's a different crisis than what we're dealing with, which is more societal. Like we don't like our living standard is the highest it's ever been in a lot of ways, yet our meaning and purpose and our social interactions, I think, are far less than what they had back then. I'm not saying we go back to that time period. I'm not saying we get in a time machine and go back, but I'm acknowledging the fact that a lot of the stuff, the reason why a lot of men struggle with these things is because they didn't have to deal with this stuff. Other men had answered the questions for them, had built up the institutions that they were going to be a part of, and all they had to do was be involved. Like they didn't have to create the bowling league. They just had to go join it. They just had to go join stuff that other men, the leaders, had built. Now every man is expected to be the alpha of his own life, and the unfortunate reality for a lot of men is that they're just not. And I'm not. That's not something against them. Like we can't all be the directors in a movie, but I think that that's the importance of men who are.
Look at us, a pack of alphas.
Right. Right, and I think that the moving forward, this stuff has been on my mind a lot, is that men who are capable of building up these institutions or creating new stuff should do it, because then it'll answer the questions for a lot of these other men, like, what do I do with my life? What do I do with the talents and abilities I have?
You know what you say. I mean, you hit on it already. Visigoths have a way of forcing you to clarify your priorities and make decisions, right? And so when the Visigoths are massing on the other side of the hill, you have to decide what's important, and you have to have the skills to make that happen. So that makes you man up in a way that when your biggest problem is, do I order Domino's or Pizza Hut? That's not real anymore.
Exactly.
And so we don't have anything. We don't have anything. I mean, for the most part, we don't really have any serious threats.
Right.
And therefore, if we don't have somebody who's forcing us to become stronger and to respond to those kinds of real life challenges, then we sort of just easily, like slipping into a warm bath, we live in comfort, so that the choices that we think are important really aren't. And to me, that's the biggest difference. And you have to go out and seek it now. Whereas there was a time where it was forced upon you.
Right.
And that time was
Right, I'm
not.
gonna throw out something
Real quick. Let's move on from the period in which the hunt is across the river. You yourself were not manning up. Like you yourself were not manning up. A pitchfork or pike was placed in your hand, and you were a peasant levy who was there to stall the enemy.
Oh, you got
via
a point,
blood
James. You
and
got a point.
body.
It
boy.
wasn't a choice.
There you
You
go.
were told, "Here's your fucking
You were
pike,
told,
get out there."
Here's your thing. You are going to be a sack of
Right.
flesh in between you and the enemy. But there
Right.
was a time. Here's the thing. There was a time back in like Victorian era and the post-Victorian era where men had clubs and fraternities. Some of the things that TJ mentioned. This is as recent as the past century. You didn't have to. There didn't need to be somebody trying to kill you across the river for this stuff to be accessible to men. There just needed to be a place to go talk.
Yeah,
a place to go hang out.
Right.
A healthcare union. There's clubs in.
Right.
In fact, this still exists. It's in Tampa, where you would be part of a club. You would pay a quarter a month or something like that, adjusted for inflation. It would be like $50 today. All your healthcare was taken care of. All your other life
Right.
taken care
I
of.
recommended this book to Rob, and he picked it up. It's called Age of the Bachelor.
Oh, great book. Guys, you should
lots of
check
books
it
to
out
read.
if you want to have something. But I'll tell you what comes around goes around, and fucking everything repeats itself. The shit that goes on in this book was primarily about like the late 1800s through the early 1900s. And we've got it better than they did back then. But you know what? It's all cyclical. It's all the same old shit that it's like, wow, they were dealing with this bullshit back then.
Yeah.
And so, guys, choose something else. What do you want?
Well,
Yeah,
I'll-
ultimately, you have to design outside of public opinion, and that includes your friends and, God forbid, your fucking idiot family.
Oh,
You have to design your own life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of guys
Right.
Yeah.
don't want that freedom. They're very much afraid of that. They don't know how to do that. So
Right.
I mean that's where
I think
that's where I hate to even use the word space, but spaces like this are very, very important. And the work that Red's doing and Masculine Geek
Right.
and definitely Punch Riot. So
well, I'll say this, and I
Better
want-
fucking believe it.
that's right.
I
Punch
want-
Riot. Nick is a dirty whore, but he's a good dirty whore. If you know what I'm saying.
He's got a lot of tongue in cheek. He's totally going through his back molars, but yes.
Well, here's I think here's the thing that a lot of young men in this space they're kind of getting confused, and this is why a lot of young men are completely upset with the space. Is because a lot of guys tell them to stay on their purpose. What the fuck do you mean? And I think that's the kind of thing that everyone here is saying, because it kind of goes to this whole, every guy in the red pill says, well, stay on your purpose and you'll get what you want. Well, what are you talking about? Because we are in the era of lost boys. They don't even know what purpose is. So telling guys to quote unquote stay on their purpose or find purpose, these are guys that have zero clue what the hell that even means.
Yeah, that's why mentors are good.
Yeah, because the thing is that, well, that's the thing with young men today. And the thing about it is I understand why they're upset. That's why a lot of guys are over there talking about looks, money, status, and getting surgery on their chins and whatnot. And then there's guys policing their own dick. I'm like, oh
my God, yeah.
I'm like, to the point where I'm just like, fuck me. Does anyone know here what purpose is? No, you don't. So how the hell are you going to listen to somebody about purpose, right? And they don't even know what the hell that means. I understand why guys are upset. They don't even know what they want. They don't know what they want. And number two, how do you know purpose when you don't, when that's the thing that you're trying to look for? That's another problem that I'm trying to fix within speaking from a young man experience.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you go to as a young man. You look at these older, listen, Rule Zero tells you what they're in for. They tell you, look, we're trying to help guys be better with relationships. We're trying to help guys be better with relationships and pre-relationships and making sure that you're not screwing up in those phases and things of that sort. They're addressing a different set of problems.
Yeah.
We have an additional set of problems that we need to deal with and stuff like that. And and I guess I don't follow enough. Like I literally just follow the Rule Zero guys, and that's about it. But when it comes to Rule Zero, Chesty, that's probably about it.
Okay.
When it comes to the when it comes to solving these other problems and stuff like that, the young men have, it's like, all right, well, you shouldn't be upset with the math professor for not teaching you economics.
Yeah.
If you're looking for practical applications and stuff like that, you need to go look for the practical applications thing.
James, I really don't want to cut you off. I don't. Okay. But I'm going to, because you and Red are probably in the same age demographic. Okay.
Mhm.
And yes, I'm a fucking boomer in that sense. All right. I'm not going to deny it, but let me ask both of you. It's a rhetorical question, and I've already said it. And Chesty, it's on the screen right now. There's when we start talking about, like, when Red brought up, you got to follow your purpose, yada, yada, yada. And I agree, Red. I agree 100%, brother. What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? That, whatever it is, and it's going to change over time. It will. You will change as you get older. You're going to be like, well, right now I want to stack cash, or I want to do Bitcoin, or I want to bang hoes, or whatever it is.
Yep.
That's for that time period, for that moment, for that year, whatever it is, that's your purpose. But you, young man, James, Red, all the other guys watching, listening, you have to figure that out for yourself.
No, and I do agree.
I can't tell you what your purpose is. Vince can't tell you what your purpose is. Nick can't tell you what your purpose is. Nobody in the chat, nobody on the panel can tell you what your purpose is.
Nope.
You have to figure that out for you.
Figure that shit
And
out.
you're going to get a lot of flack from other people. There's going to be people that are going to say, oh, no, dude, you should be, wifing up the 22-year-old virgin and praying to Jesus. And then there's going to be another motherfucker who's going to tell you, guys, no, you need to go out and bang a bunch of hoes. Okay? They're not wrong. That's their purpose, whatever it is. You have to decide for you. Before you listen to any other motherfucker out there, you have to decide, what do I want? What do you want? Okay. For years, I'm fucking almost 49 now. In less than a month, I will be 49. Okay.
Nice.
Yes, there's a couple other old geezers in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm officially about to join the club here. Okay.
Right.
But you
Join
know
the
what?
50 club.
That's right. Here's the thing, though. Okay. For a lot of years, for over 20 of those years, probably closer to 30, 35 of those years, I listened to everybody else. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do the other. So I did all that shit. Okay. And some of you guys, you're doing the same thing, and I get it. Okay. Here's the thing. I did it. I did what Dad told me. Go do this. Okay, Dad, I did it. Now what? Okay, well, go do this. And so I did that. Now what, Dad? I don't know. Get married. So I did that too. And I was absolutely fucking miserable. And that's when I realized I got to do whatever it is that I want to do. And fuck what anyone else says, because one, you're going to be judged anyway. They're going to fucking judge you. Your parents are going to judge you. Your friends are going to judge you. Your work's going to judge you. The women around you and other men are going to judge you. Everybody's going to fucking judge you. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. You have to decide, this is what I want to do. And then that's what you do.
I don't want to cut you off, Rob, but I'm going to, because
guys, I'm gonna head out.
That's how we interrupt each other.
I'm gonna head out, guys. It's been nice, man. I'd love to do this again with you guys.
Peace.
Same, Red.
He was
Glad to
nice.
have you on.
Yeah,
Sorry to cut you off, brother.
No, definitely, definitely lots of guys here. I'm definitely gonna have on the future on my podcast, man. We're definitely gonna shoot the shit.
Yeah, we'll have you back.
Absolutely.
We'll have you back on, Red. Take it easy.
All right, definitely. Take it easy.
Pleasure.
Take care, buddy. So I'm just going to co-sign everything Rob just said. I'm just gonna, predictably suck his dick because because
Let's make it real, Nick. Get me
Yeah,
on. I want
Jesus.
an orgasm.
Well, I will have to say,
Good
I'm
night,
gonna cut
folks.
you all. I'm gonna cut you all off, and I like doing it. Rob makes a good breakfast, so there you go.
There you go.
the,
So suck away, Nick.
this is metaphorical fellatio. Okay.
Oh, okay. You're still getting a good breakfast.
This is going to be on one of those
Oh, no.
podcasts.
You better say no homo first.
No. You can say homo all he wants. I'm
You
fine.
big homo.
Metaphorical fellatio is, you don't have to wash your face afterwards. So,
Jesus.
You just need to take a nice long shower.
so
That's right. Private
you
shower.
need a drink and a good long cigar.
That's right.
Big, thick, long cigar.
All I'm gonna say is when I got divorced in 2015, right?
Hey, same here.
Yeah, so good year for it.
Mhm.
And I came out of that, and the only thing I told myself was, from here on out, you're going to do things the way you want. You're going to get what you want, and you need to figure out what that is, along the lines of what Rob said and along the lines of what Chesty said as well. And so I decided I wanted two things. I wanted more money and I wanted more hoes, and that was it. My kids were grown. I have two kids. They were grown. They were out taking care of themselves. I didn't have to worry about them so much. All I had to do was worry about me. And so I applied myself to that, and that's what I got.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's several years later, and I'm still doing more or less the same thing. Although I've gotten tired of banging all those 9s and 10s. So I'm just sticking with one or two right now.
Do you remember all those dudes' names?
Fucking stop, Vince. Oh my God.
Buddy, you don't use your real name in a truck stop. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Nobody uses their real name in a truck stop bathroom.
I didn't think so.
But it really is. It's so simple. It's goddamn complicated. And if you just say, hey, this is what I want to do. What do I need to do to get myself there? And then you simply do it. And the difference is, and the whole thing is a mind fuck, just like Rob says, because everybody's going to tell you they want you to do something different because it reaffirms their own choices or their own expectations or their own failures or their own regrets.
Yeah.
But you have to decide, hey, scorched earth, fuck it, everything be damned. I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to see what happens.
Yep.
And that's the hard choice right there. It's easy to talk about, but it's kind of like not wearing a mask in a store full of 3,000 people who are wearing masks. There's still pressure on you, and you have to be able to manage and handle that pressure and say, fuck it, And my advice to people is usually, you know what? Go read Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, and then go do likewise and make it happen for yourself. And if you do that, your whole perspective ends up changing and your whole life ends up changing. And that's real shit. It's not just a bunch of talk, but you got to get off the internet and you got to actually make it happen for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that,
Right.
Life isn't perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than than the alternative.
Actually, Crusader, you first, and then I'll.
Okay, so Nick and Rob totally agree on all that. And the one thing I really wanted to say to add to this is here's a real life sign that you're making things happen is the fact that you've pissed somebody off. Playing this whole weird game where you play the devil's advocate all the time really does not work. You're going to end up pissing off people in life for having the strong opinions you're going to have as a man, as yourself. And that's something I've had to learn as a young one, over the years. You got to defining yourself is disagreeing with other people.
Yep.
So,
all right.
No,
So
Red, you're absolutely right.
I'm going to help everybody out here. I'm a game designer. It's my job to take people who do not know how to give me feedback and turn it into something that I can actually use as actionable advice and start re-engineering things and figure out what their complaints actually mean. Because people don't know actually how to complain and how to give feedback and how to take something that they sense that something is wrong. And usually, but the only thing that they can give you of utility is something's wrong. And once that point passes, you look at them and say, "Okay, thanks." Because the moment you start trying to think about what it is that you think is wrong, you're going to steer yourself in a completely different direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to translate.
Yep.
Red sings the blues complaint here. When I was a kid, or not a kid, when I was a teenager, this was right after my dad died. And there was all this, like, people were firing on all cylinders trying to tell me, like, gotta respect your mom, gotta respect your family, gotta respect your elders, gotta respect all these assholes who make these inverted shark nets or these inverted fishing nets that catch minnows and let the sharks swim free. All this bullshit about morality and social norms and how to keep people in line in a certain fashion, but none of them followed those rules themselves. They were all just to control other people. Even with all that bullshit being fed into me, I had something to bounce off of. I had something to say no to. I had something to say, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm going to go off in this other direction. It might be the opposite. It might be just in a different direction. It might be orthogonal to it in some way. But I have something to look at, evaluate, and respond to. And I think the thing that Red Sings the Blues was complaining about is that a lot of young men nowadays don't have that. The advice of go do whatever you want is useful insofar as you've already hit up against something. Like you guys mentioned, you got divorced in 2015. You went up, you ran through the system, you ran through marriage and came out the other end and decided they're going forward. It's me from going forward. It's me. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking what these people tell me to do. I'm not doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Starting from this end, though, it's like we don't even have that. We don't even have anybody telling us to really go get married or to not get married or to bang hoes or not bang hoes.
Got it, James. Here's the thing.
They're saying you have options.
No, I get it. Here's the thing. I get where you're coming from. Okay. You don't know where to go or what to do. And I already said, what do you want? And the other part of that is there are no safety nets and you're going to fuck up. So here it is for you, James, for Red, for young guys in the chat, for guys watching the replay, whether they've been there or not. Here's my guru moment for you motherfuckers, okay? I give you permission to fuck up and fail because most of you guys are too scared to fuck up.
Yep.
That's the only way I learned and got me to where I'm at. I did what everyone else said and I fucked it up.
See, the reason, what Vince knows.
Failing doesn't make you a failure. There's a difference between failing and a failure.
Yeah,
it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. So go fuck it up.
What the old guys, and I'm not, Rob and I agree on this. I don't know if Vince and I have ever talked about this, but Rob and I always talk about how, one of the best ways we can serve humanity is to tell them not to do what we did. But,
right.
but there's a reason why, people used to revere the older fucks. And it wasn't because there was anything special about them. It's just that they lived long enough to have fucked up a lot. And the ones who were still standing had something to tell you about that. But at the end of the day, and here's my thing, you don't need any books, and you don't even need Rob. Some of us need Rob, but not everybody needs Rob.
Nobody needs me, trust me.
But all that shit is written in your fucking DNA as a man. The problem is that you don't listen to it. The problem is none of us listen to it, and we're raised and conditioned to not listen to it. And
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you, Nick. I don't want to, but I'm going to.
I'm not a dad, but if I was,
no, I agree with what you're saying. I think part of the problem with that is we are globally connected. And what I mean by that is we have somebody over in across the seas that we're comparing ourselves to. We have all these self-help books. 200 years ago, there was not a self-help book, okay? There was no internet. There was no get your life together book. It's exactly what you said. It's in our DNA. Boys grew up under the paternal protection of their fathers. They had fathers in the house. They did join groups and clubs that were already in place, as TJ said. There was Boy Scouts. There were church groups. You knew a role. It's like you grew up and this is what you were going to do. There was no questioning. There was no, am I going to fail? Oh my God. No, fuck you. Sit down, do your job. There was none of this bullshit, all these choices that we have now. So guys are just like, what the fuck what do I pick? And if I pick this route and I invest some time and money and effort, oh fuck, what if I fail? Maybe I better not do that. Well, what if I do this over here? Maybe I'll take this course, I'll read this book, and I'll get more knowledge, and I'll be better positioned to make a decision. Meanwhile, as Rob says, you're not living your life, and the years roll by, and you're reading books, and you're taking courses, and you're jacking off to this shit, and the next thing you know, you're Nick's age, smoking a cigar, and
you are such an asshole.
I know, right?
And putting out good magazines. I mean,
Nick's age, but without Punch Riot.
Exactly. Then you just got a thumb up your ass, you know. But that's one of the main things that's our problem right now is we are spoiled for choice to the point where the possibility of failing is very real because we saw somebody else who did it, and it's like, why can I do that? Can I replicate that? If he did it, can I do it? How do I do that?
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to have to.
There's the theme for tonight's show. I don't want to interrupt you, but
it's working out quite well.
You got to make that a thumbnail.
Yep. On our last Let 'Em Burn, I think it was, I told the story about when I was in 9th or 10th grade, and there's this chick in our class that I'd known for years who all of a sudden blossomed into this just hot young woman, and I just became obsessed with her ass, so I had to grab her ass. And I did. And I'll leave out all the rest of the context, but I did that without worrying that I was going to be, expelled for sexual harassment. And I recognize that, the young guys that are growing up now are growing up in a slightly different culture than I did, because the worst that I was afraid of happening after I grabbed this chick's ass was that I'd get my face slapped. And I decided, you know what? It's worth a face slap to, grab that delicious ass. So I did it. And I didn't get my face slapped.
And eat that cookie.
And that's right. And everything was fine. So I recognize that you guys are growing up in a slightly different world. But you know what? Everybody's grown up in a slightly different world from the generation or two before. And you just, sometimes you have to say, what the fuck, I'm going to do it. And I know that sounds easy for somebody to say. It really is that simple, but in a way it's so simple, it's complicated. And I recognize that, but that doesn't change the fact that you
what you're saying at the very least, even if it's not like I could go off on like, oh, well, Title IX and stuff like that. And like, if I did grab somebody's ass, they didn't like it, I'd be persona non grata for the next 20 years of my life. But the message is still valid and still works. It's like, you still have to go out there and do things. I think the point Red Sings the Blues was getting to earlier, and the point I was getting to earlier is stuff like that. It's like, gonna go out there and choose something.
Just each generation.
What is in front of me that I have access to? There's no Boy Scouts. There's no clubs. Right. There's no fraternities. If they are, they're in college. And the one thing people have told me to not do out of the spaces that I respect is go to college. Well, which is one place, which is actually the one place where I could either go with them or I can bounce off of it. And that's the crux of the matter, is something to grapple with from the older generations and say, like, where they tell me, go do this fucking thing, and I look at them
don't
and say,
fucking
fuck you,
do it
Dad, I'm not gonna do it.
unless you want to party
Well,
and that's all you want to do. Otherwise,
I mean,
fuck college, go do something else.
you say there are no groups and no clubs out there, but look around you. You're in one right now, in a way.
Oh
right?
yeah, I am, absolutely.
But see, that's the thing. There's no guarantees. A lot of people are going to go cradle to the grave and be miserable more or less the whole time and never get what they want. That's just life. You know what? Fuck them. You know, fuck them. Let them burn.
Fuck them.
Yep.
Fuck them.
There you have it.
Fuck
Let
'em.
them burn.
Let's raise a glass to that.
Fuck yeah. Here, let me.
Everyone,
Wait a minute. Yep.
Come on, Amos. What
Amos, come on.
you have, like,
Amos,
what
spit it out.
the fuck is that a Mountain Dew?
Dude,
Is that a Mountain
Real
Dew?
sugar.
Did you just come from a D&D game?
It's section of Cheetos.
There. All right.
Ah, there you go. Bring it in.
Skål.
Hmm.
Cunt pie.
What did you call me?
Schlante Gazelaga.
A cunt pie.
Cunt pie.
We already have Red Sea here.
Well, we got Red Cunt with us.
Red,
So.
red
Well,
corn.
we have sweet
Shady
tea grape pies also.
That's right.
You owe me a fucking soda.
I wanted to make. I hate to interrupt all of you, but
You're going to anyway.
I'm going to anyway. One of the things. So someone actually mentioned in the chat, and Vince mentioned it earlier. Maslow's hierarchy, and I'm gonna have to disagree. Whoa, shit! I'm in the.
You have the
there you go.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
disagree and actually say Maslow's hierarchy is very relevant because the thing is we have too many.
No,
needs
you're taking
filled.
me out of context. No, you're misrepresenting what I
Oh,
said.
okay. Yeah,
Completely.
sorry.
You completely misrepresent what they didn't have that back then as far as like
okay. That's what I thought you meant like they just didn't have it, so it didn't. Anyways,
no, they didn't have that as a formal thing. It was
right. So the thing I used to look at it with that is, and someone else said spoiled for.
Amos, you're muted. Amos, just press the mute button.
No, I did that.
Vince, you motherfucker.
Why are you muting me?
I'm messing with it. Good.
So, basically, we have so many needs fulfilled on the hierarchy now. It's kind of like imagining like anyone who's worked in any corporate job or job with a very complex hierarchy of like employees, middle management, and upper management. Usually, you'll have like someone who gets thrown into middle management with no experience in any of the lower jobs. Like imagine kind of like what they're doing. Like they don't really know what's going on. They're not really fulfilled. They don't really appreciate where they are. That's like us, basically most men right now. Mm-hmm. We were born into a world where food, shelter, and security are pretty much guaranteed the moment we exit the womb. You don't have to do too much to get food, to have a place to live, really, and you have security around you. You have police, you have people that protect you. Things like that. You have a network around you doesn't even have to be family structures of any kind. So that's kind of like where that is we have so many men right now that are in that middle management position with no experience in the lower field. It's kind of, and we look at other countries like third world countries where they actually have to survive by actually making a real effort to put food on the table, provide security, and to protect the people around them, and then they're more fulfilled. Like they can you actually earn your way through the hierarchy, whereas we're just born in the middle of it. So basically, America is just full of, well, in many other Western countries, we're just full of middle management people with no experience, and that's a really screwed up like work environment.
Right, and that's the thing is it's easy to fix. It's easy to fix. You just grab them by the shoulders, you shake them, and you say, "You will not be a game designer." And I say, "Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna work my dream, Dad, my dream job, and I'm gonna be a game designer." And I have my dream job right now. I'm working, right. It's fucking excellent. But that came after bouncing off somebody else. It's like there's some utility in looking at somebody and say, "You don't go to college. Don't go to college, you jackass. You're gonna put yourself in debt and stuff like that. I say, fuck you. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to fail. If I get into debt, fuck it. Right? And so there's this approach where you look at people and you give them a thing to do. Give them a thing to do. And it very quickly puts into words, puts into thoughts, and just generates this new method of looking at the world where you say, I will do what this person is telling them to because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't, or I will do what this person tells me to do because I think it's in my best interest, or I won't do what this person tells me to do because I think it's in my best interest, or I won't do what this person tells me to do because fuck them and I'm going to do it out of spite.
And then you'll get your ass beat.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's
either by them or by life.
People. It's this new means of communicating with these people who seem lost and stuff like that. It's actually a very simple solution. It's a very simple solution where you tell them, go learn how to weld. Go get your fucking useless fucking poli-sci degree. Go do it. Go do it. And then they look at you and say, no, I'm not going to do it. And all of a sudden that gets their gears turning where they look at something else and then they say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go be a voice actor. I'm going to go into the arts. I'm going to be a painter instead. I'm going to work my corporate job. Hell, I'm going to work for HR, collect money put in my 9 to 5. And then when I come off my 9 to 5, I'm going to enjoy my life as I see fit.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. That is very deep. That is a very poignant statement. But Rob wants the floor now.
Do I have the conch? I have the conch.
You do.
Cool.
But you didn't say that you were going to that you hate to cut me off. So you
hate to cut me off. I wanted you to get I wanted you to get your point across there, James, and that's why I was being polite. Guys, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to add to it. What do you want? Okay. Now, going back to the old days of terrestrial radio, going back to AM, FM, Vince will be going back in time.
Absolutely.
Good old fucking Nick's going to be going back in time, and we're going to be singing tunes from the 80s. But there is a radio station out there. It's called WIIFM. What's in it for me? Okay. What's in it for you guys? What do you want and what's in it for me? That's the two biggest questions that I ever asked myself and that you need to ask yourselves. What do I want is the biggest question of all. And I can't answer that for you. Vince can't answer that for you. Nick can't answer that for you. Nobody on this fucking panel can answer that for you. Nobody in the fucking Twitter sphere, internet, nobody can fucking answer that for you. You have to answer that alone. There's no safety nets. You're going to fuck it up. You're going to screw it up. You're going to fucking fail. But you have to ask yourself, what do I want? Okay. And then ask the second question. What's in it for me? Okay. I don't care what it is, whether it's a job, school, women, it doesn't matter. What's in it for me? Because at the end of the day, what's in it for me is going to be different for what's in it for you. Okay, and this isn't dark triad, Machiavellian, blah, blah, blah.
Rob, you're just training people to be sociopaths.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't that LARPing bullshit. But you have to ask yourself, what's in it for me? You can go out there and bust your ass. I've done it. And I made a bunch of people a bunch of money. What did I get out of it? I got some money, but I got fucking tired. I got extra work. I got bullshit. And that's nobody's fault but my own. Okay? So you have to ask. You have to tune in that dial. You have to spin the dial. It's not the digital dial of, you just type in a number that you motherfuckers are used to. It's the old analog dial that me, Nick, and Vince know about, where you get a bunch of static and a bunch of bullshit going on. You have, that's it. That white noise. You have to find WIIFM. What's in it for me? Okay, and that's not Machiavellian bullshit. You just have to say, what's in it for me here? What do I stand to gain from this? What am I getting out of it? And if it's worth it to you, then do that. If it's not, fuck it. Do something else. Okay? There's always another job. Even today, with all the bullshit with masks and the coof and all that, there is other jobs. There are always other women. There's always another woman. Okay. There's what, 7 fucking billion people on this planet right now? Something like that. Trust me, there's other women. And when you fucked a few of them, you realize after a while the pussy is good, there's always better. You're always going to find that there's always another one. Okay. There's always another job. There's always another girl. There's always another whatever it is. So you don't have to put up with a bunch of bullshit. So what do I want? What's in it for me? Those are probably the 2 biggest questions you can ever ask yourself. And I and Vince and Nick and everybody else, no other motherfucker on the Twitter sphere or the internet, nobody can tell you the answer to that. You're the only one.
Rob.
And that's, here we go.
For $499 a month, if you sign up for my online course, all the answers to your life problems will be solved.
TJ didn't want to interrupt.
You know what? Exactly. I want to answer TJ's. I want to answer TJ's hypothetical. And this is a side tangent, but I'm going to go there. I'm going to be brief like TJ. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. I've seen guys ask, how do you know the real guys from the bullshit guys? Okay. Real guys aren't going to be able to give you answers because your life experience, your situation, your context is going to be different. Okay. I don't know what you're going through. I'm not you. Okay. And I'm not going to manufacture a problem that I conveniently have a solution to because I don't have the fucking solution to your problems other than, guys, what do you want? And what's in it for me? Speaking as you, what's in it for you? What do you fucking want? And what's in it for you? And if it's something you can deal with, you can look at it and go, yeah, I can do that. Then fucking do that. If it's something that you're like, fuck that, then don't. Go do something else. Whatever it is, go do that. Go do whatever the fuck that is. I don't know your situation. I don't know where you live. I don't know your family situation. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Okay. It doesn't matter to me because I look at it and go, well, what do I want? What's in it for me? I don't give a fuck about your problems.
Oh, fuck.
It's the truth.
No. Yeah, you're right, Rob. You're absolutely right. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to go look in the chat and read what Nick just wrote. I just shit myself.
Who just wrote?
Nick. I just shit myself.
Waxing philosophic about the days of
scroll down. Rob's face looks like a 70s grandma's vagina.
I haven't seen that one yet. It hasn't showed up yet.
You means he hasn't seen a 70s grandma's vagina, not the actual comment yet.
Oh my god!
It hasn't showed up for me on the chat.
No, the private channel.
Oh, oh fuck! We're doing that. Fuck off, Nick. So there you go, guys. Do what you want. Because I did what everybody told me to do. I did what work told me to do. I did what family told me to do. I did what friends told me to do. Society and culture. I did it all. And I ended up looking down the barrel of a shotgun. That's where it fucking got me. Okay. After doing what everybody fucking told me to do, the end result I was miserable and I was willing to kill myself because of it, because I hated it. And it was at that point that I decided, fuck it. If everyone else can say this is what you need to do, and that to me, for me, leads to the road to ruin. That's when I was like, well, what do I want? What does Rob want? Fuck what everyone else, fuck what my mom, what my dad, what my job, what Chest, what Vince, what Nick, what any motherfucker says. What do I want? And I started doing that. And I lost friends.
What do you want, Rob?
I want pussy. That's
who
what
doesn't?
I want. I started doing what I wanted to do.
That's right.
And I got judged. I had women, men, friends, family, everyone going, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And I was like, I'm doing what I want. And that was the end of it. They had no answer to it. They had no retort. They had no comeback to it. And even if they did, it didn't matter. I was happy. I am happy because I'm doing what I want. And all I have to ask is, what do I want and what's in it for me? So when Nick goes, hey, I need you to write a Punch Riot article, or I want you to be a part of this, the first fucking thing I ask myself is, what's in it for me? Okay. And I figured that out, whatever it is. And then
you get to make him breakfast. You get to make him breakfast in the morning,
right? And if it works out that I like it, then I'm good.
Scrambled
if it doesn't work out for me, fuck it, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And either motherfuckers are okay with it or they're not. Either way, that's what I'm going to do. So, guys, take the leap of faith. There are no safety nets. There is no afterlife. There is no do-overs. You don't get a second chance. This is it. What do you want and what's in it for you? That's it. And then go from there. Adapt and improvise. You're going to change things up. You're going to correct, just like when you drive your fucking car. You're going to turn the wheel a little this way, a little that way, and you're going to stay on course. And guess what? You're going to fucking fail. That doesn't make you a failure. You're just going to fail. And then you fucking get up and you do it again.
Learn from it, yeah.
That's it. Stop trying to be perfect because you're not going to be. You're going to fuck it up. So get over it. Amos, you're correct. But you know what? God damn it.
That fucking leg lengthening surgery.
Something like that.
All right, it's stop drinking, James.
No.
Holy crap.
So
I
guys,
decided that what I really want is to keep drinking.
Yeah.
then drink, James. God damn it, drink.
So you're all
I
worried now.
everything that Rob and these guys are saying. I agree with everything that they're saying. I'm just going one step further and saying, if you don't know what you want, we're in the circumstances where you don't know where you want, open up the random page in the cookbook and do that. Find one person to tell you what to do and grapple.
No. You go onto the Masculine Geek site and you sign up for our.
Don't tell me what
We'll tell you what to do.
Exactly.
Look,
You go on masculinegeek.life and
And go into consult.
you go to that fucking forum and you ask people what it is that you should be making for breakfast. And if you disagree with them, so be it. But ask the question.
Exactly.
Find the thing to grapple with.
Well, it's difficult, James, for you to actually have authority with that since you haven't been on the forum.
I've been on the forum. I just haven't posted anything on
You
it.
son of a bitch. That's my point exactly.
you subscribe to Punch Riot because it's a lot cheaper than Masculine Geek Life.
You fucking dickhead.
And after you read 3 issues, you're not going to have any problems figuring out what you want to do. And the only thing that I want to add to anything Rob says, because I can't say it better than he did, is there's one phrase you need to learn, especially if you're going to college or going into corporate America, that is going to set you free, and it's this: hit the bricks, rug muncher.
Hit the bricks, Rug Muncher.
And if you can say that, you will create the future that you most desire.
And that's,
Amen.
that is no bullshit.
How did I phrase it in the script? I think it was like
hit the bricks, Rug Muncher. It was almost comical, but not. It was good. It was very well timed and well placed, and the tonality was perfect. So
I love it.
it's a shame that Punch Riot, which is a magazine, that's fine, but we as voice actors on something completely different, has nothing to do with Punch Riot, really. I mean, got better views than anything that Nick does in Punch Riot. So that's thanks to us. And
What the hell are you talking about?
your magazine is, it's like
Vince is saying we're holding you out.
we're bracing Punch Riot on Punch Riot Radio. Our voices on Punch Riot Radio have provided you a foundation upon which you are building subscribers and views upon YouTube.
And we're happy to do it.
Yeah, we are.
Because I told every one of you fucks what to say.
Well, we're not mentioning that part. Shh.
Wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to look at that and say bullshit.
Exactly. Bullshit, motherfucker. But no, go subscribe to Punch Riot. You won't be disappointed.
It was good. Biggest Sticks episode 1 was a lot of fun to do, and Nick is a fantastic writer.
He is. And
if that script was indicative of his other work, and I believe it is, I think you're gonna love it. We're gonna love everything you see.
And in order to return the fluff, I will say that I too subscribed to masculinegeek.life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
so far, I'm kind of overwhelmed by how many dudes in that chat offered to blow me in my house. So
I told you that in confidence. Okay?
It wasn't just your house. I mean, come on now. Let's be honest.
You signed in an NDA, you motherfucker.
We had to go out to your man shed.
Shadowsperians.
Right. Don't forget the shed wars are coming.
The watershed of tears.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's funny. But yes, masculinegeek.life. Get your asses over there. Next month for the Zoom Fortress meeting will be a good meeting. So that's all I'm saying. Not going to want to miss it.
I should probably not drink anymore.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Yeah,
it's probably
you probably ought to slow down there, youngin.
Or at least drink a little bit of water.
Pace yourself.
I ran out of my water.
That's right. We still have to. And Rob, yeah, TJ, we have to do the Masculine Geek, and James too. The Masculine Geek puppet show.
Dude, Teriyaki's actually making me a fucking puppet. Dude, you ought to see this thing.
Oh, man.
Rob says puppet?
Yes.
I have an idea. Does she want to make some quick money? Does she want to make some quick money and make them for the rest of us?
It's kind of ironic you say that, Vince, because her and I are already in talks about that.
Okay.
Well, but she's doing one that it's not a sock puppet, it's a foam puppet, dude.
Oh,
you gotta see this motherfucker, because I'm like, oh my god, this is great.
This is gonna be funny then.
And she was like, what do you think the other guys would think? I'm like, I think they would fucking pay you good money. That's what I think.
I'll pay her to do a Masculine Geek Vincent puppet.
We will be happy to be one of our first patrons.
Absolutely.
We need to be a full
I will
show.
let her know. If she's not watching right now, because she might be lurking, I will let her know that, yep, we got the geeks on board to have fucking puppets.
Absolutely. So, yeah. It'd be like,
do a whole show where everyone has a Rob puppet and everyone does their best impersonation of Rob.
Right.
You do that too. But
you
may not know this, Amos. This was conceived and will be birthed soon. But it's actually pregnant at the moment. It's a couple months. So we're gonna do an episode wherein all of us are just puppets.
Rob. Oh,
No,
puppets.
we're all
Right.
puppets, puppet versions of ourselves. So we're obviously talking, but all you're going to see is the puppet. So, yeah. That's right, Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem from the Muppets.
Oh, Chesty.
Nick and I can be the old guys up in the fucking balcony
with cigars hanging out your mouth.
Oh shit!
Yes, Marty. Be jealous, you motherfucker. Yes.
Everyone's
We
grandma.
already have our own
The animal.
Masters of Puppets. Yes, Tempest. That's it. We need to do a whole episode. If I can get Teriyaki to make all the puppets, dude, we seriously need to do an entire show where it's just the puppets.
Well, that's the idea, yeah.
Yeah. We're all sitting off camera and just
talking in a normal voice, moving the fucking puppet mouth.
Like, so, guys, how's it feel to have a hand up your ass?
A new term, puppet mouth.
Puppet mouth. Yeah, puppet mouth, see? Right in the puppet mouth, bitch. Oh, fuck this bitch right in her puppet mouth.
oh,
Take it, bitch.
I always wanted to be a marionette. I always wanted to be a puppet master, said the gynecologist.
What? I'm just gonna turn you off now. You're just I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. I just let me go over here. What does it say? Kick from studio, ban from studio. Okay, what do you get?
You can just remove from stream. He can watch us.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And put
Dex
you in
Madigan revealing why he had his private investigator's license revoked.
Yeah. He was fucking the puppet.
Too much. I wouldn't have fucked the mayor's wife had I slowed down that month. But
you were fucking the puppets there, son.
Exactly. I was fucking the puppets.
This episode is like
a license for you, Shane.
And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these
those crazy those goddamn dog and the kids. Oh my god!
A puppet episode where we take the theme from Scooby Doo. Oh my god, that would be great.
That would be kind of
we
funny.
already did that. No, we already did that.
Rick my rolls,
right in his puppet mouth.
Hey.
Fucker right in the puppet mouth.
Ruh-roh, there's a ringer in my rut.
That's right.
If Rob isn't Shaggy, then I don't know where I'm at.
Sorry, Bacon. You're getting the tail end of the show, so I can't bring you on because we're going to sign off soon. But what's that, TJ?
Vince, we already used the Scooby Doo theme song for a cartoon episode.
That's right, we did. Yeah.
No, people.
Oh yeah, that's just check out the show.
Rebel Scum.
That's a cool shirt.
Rebel Scum.
Nice.
Nest
You'll
of
never find a more wretched hive of villainy.
Oh, scum villainy. Yeah,
Scum and villainy.
You know what else? Well, you know what else works is that I live in Washington State. So
you don't say, TJ. Are you kidding me? You live in Washington?
You've never told us.
I didn't know that.
It's
this is where he goes.
This is the first time hearing that you lived there.
I know. Next, we're going to hear that Cappy drinks all the rum and calls his wife every 5 minutes.
I know.
He's a chronic masturbator.
That's right. Well, where is it? Hang on. Let me get that. Hang on. We gotta get that. There you go.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ. Too funny. That was a good trip. We gotta do another Village by the Lake. Or Village by the Sea again.
Either way. Village by the Lake, sea, something like that.
Wow. Yeah, that was it.
All you fuckers come out there. I will happily do, and maybe I shouldn't say this while I'm inebriated, but I'll be happy to take care of it. Jesus, it's going to be a lot of
not
the plane trip, just the dinner before anybody gets any fucking idea.
I'm editing out that later. I'm going to use that against you as evidence.
Let him burn. Let him agree to everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Village by the Bayou.
Oh, God, that sounds fun.
I've never been to Louisiana, or New Orleans, or any of those kind of like swampy areas that have that old early French settlers vibe. Those places look so beautiful to me, but I've never been there.
All I'm doing is hearing Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's all I'm hearing. That's the one, yeah.
Yep.
Swamps and gators. I could do that. That'd be
And
good.
hoodoos. Don't forget the hoodoos.
Yeah, the hoodoos. Yeah.
Well, if you sign up for Punch Riot and you read Laserdicks Chapter 4, I introduce Nick's character, who is sort of a voodoo gentleman. So there you go. Papa Nick, he's called. Now, any of you guys right now, who in the chat and on the panel subscribes to Punch Riot?
I just write for them occasionally.
You don't fucking read, you fucking dick licker. And who in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you subscribe to Punch Riot.
Rob doesn't support me.
No, I know it's horrible.
What's in it for me, Nick? What's in it for me?
Right in the puppet mouth.
How right, a kisser.
Well, yeah, but Rob writes for every issue now, so he gets a copy of the issue anyway. So there's no.
Hey, where's my current one, motherfucker? I haven't got that one yet.
I sent it to you last night, asswipe. Read your email.
Rob weren't awake at 2 a.m.
Andrew, there are not all boomers who are writing for Punch Riot. However, it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with the words and the wordsmithing and the lyrical poems that we create. You're missing out. Anyway,
Rob, you should have been up at 2 a.m. for your cold shower so that you could.
Apparently, yeah, I needed to be drinking in my shower again.
Exactly. Let me get back to my questioning of you fuckers. So, all right, or statements, I should say. I have introduced Red in Chapter 3 as well.
Red Cunt's in there?
Red Cunt is in Laserdicks. Right?
Nice.
And
you need to be careful how you speak of him, Rob.
Yeah, this is very true because you two
are
related. That's all I'm saying.
We're arch nemesis.
You have to go back and read it, you fucking dick.
So and Red, am I in the story too?
It's possible. You're not. Well, let's put it this way: if you don't sign up for it,
you'll never know.
Never know. Red Crusader, Red Cunt, go sign up. $5. Go sign up for Punch Riot right now.
Oh no, I've been looking, man. No worries.
Have you signed up already?
Not yet. I'll do it at the end of the
Get on it, motherfucker!
God damn it! Sign up now.
No time for
Calm your cooter. It'll happen.
Let me put it this way. If you don't know whether or not you're going to sign up for Punch Riot, we're going to tell you now, sign up for Punch Riot. And whether or not you want to disagree with that is up to you.
Yeah, but guess what? Disagreement
or not, you're fucking doing it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You need to read like a man.
As a real man, you'll sign up for Punch Riot.
Well, I was running my asshole. I was reading Punch Riot and decided that I would. That was
Look,
it.
I've got
my script ends here. I couldn't possibly do anything after that.
Jesus,
we need to shut him up.
I've got guys who signed up for a basic subscription, and within a month, they had made $5,000 in crypto, and they banged about 5 9s and 10s. So
don't forget the snossage of an elephant,
and right in the puppet mouth.
They ended up with a very flaming case of puppet mouth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Now, TJ, have you signed up for Punch Riot?
Yeah, I not only sign up. I mean, obviously, I contribute content that was discussed, but I also support them.
And the same, yeah. I write and I subscribe. Have you read?
I don't dox anybody who's a subscriber. So if you subscribe, that's a private transaction between you and Punch Riot, and I never reveal that unless you've already revealed it.
Right.
We don't care. We don't care.
Well,
we just
I mean,
feel it.
I just signed up right now.
Me
Excellent. See,
subscribing.
look at that.
I gotta say that.
All right, you damn virtue signaler.
There you go.
Me
See,
subscri-
this
me
is how
subscribing-
marketing and word of mouth works, and peer pressure.
And trying to get the word in.
Guilt and
No, I
shame
say that
tactics.
subscribing.
I really
No,
want
I-
to
I
fail
say
so I
that,
can go back to not
Sure.
having to do anything anymore.
What else is new?
That's what well, see, I took Charlie's crypto course, and I'm killing it in crypto, so I don't have to.
That is an excellent course. I'm going back through all the Zooms and getting. I've already tripled my money already. I'm like, holy shit, this actually fucking works, and even a little bit of research I've done. I'm like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much, but I had a consultation with Charlie in October. I really like what he's doing. I like the way he's doing it. I think he's got way more credibility than most of the people out there who are preaching any kind of financial bullshit. And I essentially made what I need for living expenses for all of next year already by working with him. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's if you haven't done some research, I mean, you could take a course or not, but if you haven't done some personal research into cryptocurrency, you're doing yourself a great disservice.
everybody who's taken his course has at least made their money back they spent on the course, plus probably double or triple on top of that. And it's really worthwhile. Just even if you don't want to invest a lot, it's worthwhile for the understanding of where all that shit's going. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
If you've got some money to play with and test it out and see for yourself, I suggest you do it.
I took all my money out of the stock market and put it into crypto based on my consultation with him. So,
Yep, it's completely worth it, and it's no joke. Yeah,
It's very important. What did Bloodbrush say in the chat there? What is that?
he said, "Y'all sound like the Irish Catholic side of my family, you degenerates at Masculine Geek." Does that
Well,
sound
listen,
like-
if you have any
I used to
Catholic
be
redheads on the side of your family, you tell them to give me a call, and I'll let them know.
No, so what I was trying to say is that I like regarding the magazine, like I would recommend people subscribe to it, and if there's any writers out there who are in the chat or whatever, consider submitting something, because I like what Nick's doing, because we're moving past the point of just talking about stuff. We're actually doing stuff, and we're producing good content, and we're helping to cement a new type of culture that I think is
movement
that
forward.
at the very exactly, like we're not just reacting to what's going on around us. We're creating content that's that is an alternative to what people would normally read. And we've a lot of magazines are dying now, and a lot of like the old magazines have gone because they're not useful anymore. So I would say that the stuff that Nick's doing, I hope it inspires other people to start up new magazines that are addressing other issues or other types of stuff. But the reality is that the old institutions don't suit us anymore. They don't serve our needs. They don't offer anything for us. They're not addressing the stuff that we care about. And so that's why it's important for not only content creators, but content producers, the people who actually, have to put this stuff together and then go through it and actually publish it and do all this stuff that I don't want to do. Like, I'm a writer. I don't want to publish stuff. That's why I go through a book publisher as much as I can, because I just want to write books. I don't want to be doing the marketing. I don't want to be doing anything else that has to do with that. The same with magazines. I don't want to be publishing a magazine. I never want to be a magazine publisher of any kind for the most part. So if there's other people out there doing that stuff, I want to support them as much as possible.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I do want to say that, the people that are writing for us, they work. I know what they're doing, and I communicate with at least the regular contributors on a pretty frequent basis. and I know how much they work. I know how hard they work. I know how much how seriously they take it, and I take their work seriously too, which is why I pay them for it, and I want to pay them more for it. And I think we do have to get past just giving it all away for free, on your blogs. And I think that's great, and I think people should do that. But I also think that there is, along the lines of what TJ said, there's a need to create new aesthetics that are masculine based instead of what most of them are now in the publishing world, which is based in feminism and progressivism and postmodernism and all those, isms that I don't particularly care for. And there needs to be a place where people can write the way they want to, say what they want to, and have it put out there and have it be supported. And that's if I, I don't have any experience in publishing really, but if I can toot my horn for anything, it's that if you write hard or you write good and you write honest, then I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to back it up, and I don't care who likes it or who doesn't like it. And I think that's needed now in a way that because this perspective is the new counterculture, and there's a lot of energy in that, and there is a serious need for those kinds of institutions to grow and to replace, or at least provide an alternative to all of the old bullshit that's dominated by academia and dominated by Northeastern liberal progressivism in publishing. And so, if I do anything well, it's just simply the fact that I'll publish your shit out there as long as it's good. And I don't care who likes it or who doesn't, but I'm going to stand by it. And our subscribers are too. So if you're interested in that, I would love to, check out punchriot.com, check out our submission guidelines and send me something. And if it's good, I'll publish it. If it's almost good, then I'll work with you on it until we get it to where we're both happy with it. Yeah, give us a try if you're a writer.
Yo, Nick, I'm signed up.
See, there you go, Nick. You got $10 out of the broadcast.
I've been meaning to do it for a while. I just keep forgetting to sign up for it.
It's totally worthwhile.
I just dropped a little message in the private chat for Nick.
While he reads that, I mean, listen, stick it to the big four and subscribe to Nick.
Stick it. You just stick it right in there. You stick it.
And not to shit on Nick, because I support what Nick's doing, but seriously, he takes my shit. And
yeah, exactly. So now you know that
it's not that hard to get your stuff put out there, guys. And he'll back it up. If he can back me up, he'll back you up. Just don't.
Rob is kind of like Rob is his worst critic, but Rob's shit is actually very, very, very good. He just doesn't know how good it is. And so, I wouldn't be putting it out there if I didn't. There are a couple things that I've published that have been a little bit, sketchy, just because I liked what the writer was trying to do and what they were trying to get at, and I just said fuck it. But with Rob, Rob has been writing shit for years, and he's really a lot better than you think. And he's got this little series that he's been doing for us called About the Guy, who's like this manosphere guy. And the latest one is he becomes a patriarch, and or he goes kind of full patriarch on you. It's really, really good shit, good satire, and well worth it. So subscribe for Rob. When you subscribe, send me a note saying you did it purely for Rob.
Right in his
we'll send him some flowers on Valentine's Day.
Right in the puppet mouth.
Right in the puppet mouth. We'll send you one of those edibles, those fruit edibles. There you go.
Yeah, fruit.
Fruit.
Speaking of things, they're legal in New Jersey.
I don't know.
That was the end of my sentence. I don't know where you were going with that, Vince.
What are you talking about? Jesus.
Vince, are you stoner? Is that what you're trying to tell us right now?
No, I've had a little too much to drink, though.
Amen.
I know that feeling.
But we know that.
Show,
yeah,
right?
You were aware of that before I was.
Yeah. This is
Wisdom,
apparently I
wisdom
have
of the elders. No, nothing needed on my part. Just the wisdom of the elders to detect that I had too much to drink before I realized it.
You had too much to drink.
right.
You know, in the nominal sense. So perhaps I'm not operating at 100% capacity right now. Or too much.
You're on the right show, so it's quite all right.
Exactly.
Mannequin, private caterer.
Private caterer.
Private caterer.
Mick Tubus, pineapple on pizza should not be legal.
Is pineapple
Here we go.
legal in New Jersey?
Oh,
No, it is
I
not.
don't care if it is or not. It shouldn't be.
It is not legal here in New Jersey. No.
It should be a felony.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
I'm not saying I support the government in any way, shape, or form, but
Any
when
way,
it
shape,
comes
or
to
form.
keeping pineapple off of pizza,
in honor of Mick Tubus and all the support he's actually truly given Punch Riot from its inception, a pineapple pizza is going to be in the second episode of Punch Riot Theater.
We should send him a pineapple pizza.
We may do that. We should.
Call up the local pizzeria near him and send him. Or when the Battlefield gathering in February happens, we have the Masculine Geek meetup. We're just going to deliver him a pizza personally.
Well, can you deliver pizza to people in prison?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Aaron that. Aaron.
There's probably a full body cavity search that's involved with that. So of course.
Aaron, we know that you're doing 25 to life for stealing crack and rum and holding up a bunch of truck drivers trying to deliver it. But we were wondering if you could tell us about the pineapple.
A body cavity search at a free pineapple pizza, that's a good date, in some people's neighborhood.
Right in the puppet mouth.
Get ready for that carpet burn.
There's your Tinder opener for the night, gentlemen.
I've yet to try that anchovies on that pizza, Rob. I thought we were going to have that in Utah. I completely forgot about it.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Places here that do anchovies. I'm telling you, there's only a couple of places that do it.
And I'd probably have to do some digging to find one here.
Yeah, it's amazing if you can find them.
By the way, Rob, you reminded me. Once I got off my dietary stuff, I was going to go get a pineapple pizza and take a picture for you.
All you're doing is just proving to me how big of a communist you are. That's all.
No,
Look at my name.
You're red cunt communist.
I'm a red.
You have
Red
to.
cabbage.
You need to take a photo of you with the anchovies, not the pineapple.
Right.
No thanks.
Communist.
God damn. Oh, shit. All right, we're coming up on the 2 hour and 40-minute mark. Should we just run for 3 hours and say fuck it?
Yeah.
Get her done.
I actually got to go, guys.
Where?
Yeah, that's right.
Where?
I'm gonna wah. So, guys,
All right, go
do
wham.
what you want. What's
Who do
in it
you
for
want?
me? Do that kind of things. Those
Rob,
are
you're missing your hour mark duty.
hit the like, hit the subscribe, share, do the thing. You know what you need to do. You guys know what you need to do.
That's right. Excellent.
No, for real though, I do have to go, guys. So seriously, guys in the chat, guys in the replay, what do you want? What's in it for me? That's all those are the two biggest questions you'll ever ask yourself.
Exactly. Guys, you always have to ask yourself, what's in it for Rob? Whatever you do, what's in it for Rob? Yeah.
What's in it for me, motherfuckers? So,
That's
guys,
why he has to go. He's drank so much beer. He wants to go hit it before the brewer's drink kicks in.
That's right. Before the kick.
Right in the
So, guys,
puppet mouth.
we'll see you all on the next one.
All right, later.
See you later,
Peace,
brother.
brother.
All right. If we're going, here we go. Everybody get your stuff.
Oh, motherfucker. All right.
Everybody get your stuff. Here we go.
Hey, one thing. All right.
Hey, there you go.
This first, then this will be our toast to Nick's statement.
Yes.
Toast.
Happy fucking New Year.
What I wanted to do was put in a plug for TJ's new novel that just got released, which is Pilgrim's Digress. What was it again?
Digress.
Yeah, it's Pilgrim's Digress.
And I read that was the one that was serialized on the Terror House website, right?
Yeah, it was serialized originally, and it's now in paperback and in ebook. So if people want to buy the actual copy, they can get a copy. Matt Lawrence did a cover for it that was very provocative and kind of dark. And then I reread the book, and I was like, well, I kind of wrote a dark book. Like I didn't realize it at the time, but it's a pretty dark book. In a lot of ways. And so Vince read it and graciously did an advanced review for it, which I really appreciate, along with Andy Nowicki and Adam Piggott of Pushing Rubber Downhill.
Let me see if I can find those. I'll read them out.
Yeah. So I also did an interview with Terror House Radio on that. So people, if they want to listen to that, they can do so.
That was good. I did listen to that.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was ironic that they released that book on Christmas Day because it's not a Christmas book. And it's pretty dark, and so I had to actually warn some of my long-term followers on my newsletter and in my Facebook page. Like this is not it is a kind of a dark book, but fortunately I actually signed a contract with Terror House Magazine for my upcoming novel, the fantasy novel that was inspired by the visit I did with Vince to Gettysburg. And that one's going to be a much more lighthearted book, and it's going to be coming out next year. So yeah, that's the book cover.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
it is a sex spot. Just so you know.
Yes. Like if you want to know how dark it is, like that's.
All right. So James, you want to read the praise for the Pilgrim's Progress, the 3 paragraphs right there?
Absolutely. Allow me to blow this up slightly larger. There we go. The Pilgrim's Digress is a fast track down the rabbit hole of morality, religion, politics, and existential philosophy, all wrapped up in the tour de force of well-written dialogue and intense action. It harkens back to the pulps of old. Amos is Solomon Kane for the new age. I'm digging it immensely. Bravo, Martinell, you hit a nerve, and I want more. That's from Vincent J. LaRosa from Masculine Geek. In The Pilgrim's Digress, T.J. Martinell envisages the establishment of a future tradition-based society that is part M. Night Shyamalan's Shyamalama Ding Dongs, The Village, and part Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale, except this time around.
Okay.
What's up?
Oh, no, keep going.
Oh, well, motherfucker. Except this time around, the patriarchal theocrats are the good guys. Buy one copy for yourself and another for your favorite soy-sipping liberals so that you can make a watch's head explode. That's from Andy Nowicki, author of The Columbine Pilgrim and Under the Nile. Finally, Martinell's well-constructed future is all too believable and foreboding. That's from Adam Piggott, author of Pushing Rubber Downhill and Run Guts Pulls Cones.
That's right. Pull your cones out, motherfucker.
Absolutely.
Hey, if I may just throw this in, I've been reading and kind of following TJ's work since I kind of met him last spring online, and I had him on my podcast, and we talked about his earlier books. And I bought a copy of Song of Wolfgar, which I really like because I really like that old English Anglo-Saxon styled epic poetry. And the thing I like about TJ is that he writes, he's really concerned about ideas and big ideas. And he writes about those both in his nonfiction and his fiction. And the thing that he does in his fiction, which a lot of people can't do, is that he writes with an awareness or an understanding of the ideas at play without it just being some kind of political tract or polemic or some kind of thing that is only there to sort of propagandize for a specific ideology. He gets into like the real life situations that are either impacted or that exemplify a lot of the bigger concepts that he's dealing with. Most people don't really do that anymore, and if they do it more from the other side of a more progressive kind of perspective. And so I think I really like what TJ does, which is why I've always tried to support what he does, and will continue to, because I think that's needed as much as entertainment, which is where most of my work falls toward more frequently. And that's what I'm more interested in. But the underlying concepts and ideas and the big ideas are really important as well. And I think I like the way TJ is very tenacious about getting in and exploring those ideas and what they're, how they impact us, and where sort of, the historical flow of all that kind of shit is going. So check him out, because it's really, really good. And it's kind of a niche of the current writing, at least in the sort of red pill side, or the more traditional side, that you don't see as much anymore. And he's kind of keeping that alive, as much as he can. So I highly recommend checking that out.
Amen.
That's all.
You sure? You got anything else?
Appreciate it.
Two more things. Everybody's grandma and dress for sailors, and hit the bricks, Rug Muncher.
That's right.
Hit the bricks, Rug Muncher. Marty Insulas had a question, which TJ actually answered. Margo's second is answered. He said, TJ Martinell, how many books have you written, and which one should I read first? I will second The Stringers in particular as a recommendation. That is the modern day Fahrenheit 451. It is prescient. It is its examination of technology and its impact on the social space. Has replaced for me Fahrenheit 451, which I read in high school and things of that sort. It is as I hope it is read by enough people that it will be as impactful as that book, if not more, because it is excellent. It is a prediction. It's not merely fiction, and it's well written fiction, but it's not merely fiction. It is as equally a prescient prediction of the future. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I second that. And on top of that, I also want to add that his novella, The Night No One Slept, which is one I really like a lot. It's just a good old hard-boiled detective story that takes place over the course of one night. And it's really well done. And, while I'm sitting here talking, you should, because he's so good at that hard-boiled crime fiction from the early 20th century style. I'm hoping that sometime in the next year we'll see an audio script for some kind of hard-boiled detective story we can do on Punch Riot Theater, because I would love that.
Dude, I'd totally be down for that. Yeah, Vince and I have actually talked about doing a movie script for that, so maybe we could switch over to radio. Because what's funny is I listen to a lot of old 30s and 40s movies in their radio version. An example was when I was driving over the mountain passes, I was listening to Have and Have Not, the radio version. Now, why they did that back then, because movies were really cheap, I don't know, but I think there's something to be said about like the audio only, where you just only listen to that kind of stuff.
The distribution is different too, and a lot easier.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's also good for like I like listening to, when I'm on the road, I get tired of listening to music after a while, so I like listening to audiobooks when I'm driving, but I like listening to audio plays or radio plays even more, and to be able, and I've gone back and listened to a lot of the old ones. I was always a big fan of that, but to have some that are more, either about, modern life, as it exists now, or that are just done from a more modern sensibility is something that I enjoy doing, obviously. And so I hope to put a lot of that out there so people can download it and listen to it in their cars while they're on a trip or on driving somewhere on an hour or two, kind of longer drive, and be something good to to pass the time and to entertain while they're we're all on a road trip.
I do got to add also that you should pick up Vince's books, because Vince really inspired me to write much shorter. Like the Pilgrim's Digress is not a long book, and the book that Terra House is going to be publishing next month is going to be about as long. And then I've got this book, a lot of books that I've been working on that I've been editing over the years that are going to be much shorter. And Vince's writing style and his brevity. I know the running joke is that I'm not brief, but he kind of taught me, like, I was reading his books and I was like, you know what, I need to write this length, because I understand this is the way you write now. So Vince has got a couple of books, Tesla and Malone, which is like a combination of like, God, what is the name of it? Lovecraft and like kind of steampunk Lovecraftian horror or something like that.
Yeah.
Which it's not a long read, and so it's like but it's fun, like when's the next book coming out? I'm curious.
It's funny you say that. Nick has it as a final pass edit, and we're going to be working on that, I think, this weekend, and then I'm hoping to have it out in another couple months. As with most artists, and if you're an artist out there in the chat or listening to this, and you like to hem and haw and procrastinate, fuck yourself, because you have an obligation. So, yeah, working with book cover artists can be an exercise in futility. So,
and I do want to throw out one caveat. If I happen to publish a novella in January that has Tesla and the Civil War veteran as protagonists, it's not plagiarism.
You fucking dickhead. Yeah, so Nick is finishing up the second book edits. I wrote about 3,000 or 4,000 words into the third one. I have a contemporary, and Nick is going to get. He doesn't know this. He's knowing it now. I'm putting him on the spot. I have about 25,000 words of a sort of D&D-ish type fantasy novella. Yep, that's coming your way soon. So there's that. I've got my BDSM erotica is well underway. I need to finish that out and get that to Nick. So probably over the course of 6 months, Nick is going to have 3 more novellas from me. So,
and I just got to throw out one more plug on top of TJ's, is that just the concept of having Tesla being kind of a pseudo action hero with a Civil War veteran in turn of the century New York is just a great. I mean, that's just a great conceit, right? That's a great premise, and you need to read book 1 and get ready for book 2, because it's good shit.
Yeah, it's I've had fun writing all of them. I pretty much know how the ending of the third one goes, so which is good, because then I can work backwards and fill in all the gaps. So it's going to so you're going to see some good stuff from both TJ and I, and Rob. He's not here, and Rob, and hopefully from James as well. And for content creation, we have 2 content creators here as well. We have both Yellow Capitalist. I didn't even see that you changed that. We've got the Yellow Capitalist and
the Red Communist.
And the red Communist / Red Cunt.
Yes.
So what do you guys got coming up for the new year?
Well, right now I know I'm my friend Brooke and I are taking a little bit of a couple weeks. We took a few weeks off because of the holidays and the new year, so we'll be coming back. Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, where we do our podcast. So we'll see where that goes. Be a lot to catch up with, since there's a lot happening.
All right, cool. How about you, Red? I've noticed you've kind of like dipped off your video. Okay, what's the deal with that shit?
The reason for that is I've been Yes, I've been consuming some content, and it's been kind of swaying me away from the internet space, at least for a while. But I want to get back into it, and it really seems that when I go out for my hikes, it really kind of it gives me that moment to really kind of meditate over ideas and think of something to say while I'm, doing a cast or something. So, I might do one when the snow actually hits. So I'm waiting. It's so weird. I don't understand it. Ohio is so strange compared to the South this year. The South is getting snow, and the most snow we got was right now when I was driving, and it was mostly just sleet. So,
all right.
We got snow on Christmas Eve. That was our first snow of the year, and this is Minnesota. We're supposed
yeah, I know
a month
it's
ago.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
All right. We got 2 minutes left. Is there anything you fine gentlemen, wish to plug or talk about in the 2 minutes?
I hate to interrupt you guys, but
you're going to.
No, I just throw that in for fun.
Okay. So you basically you got nothing.
Nothing.
You just felt you were going to say that.
Yeah.
You just wanted to say, okay. All right. Well done.
I don't mind plugging.
The only thing I'm going to say is if you bought Vince's book or my book, leave a review.
Oh yeah.
Like, just say what you thought of the book. There's two reasons for that. One, it improves its rankings when you search for similar books. But two, I read the reviews to just kind of get an idea of like what people think of it. So when I read, someone says this book took a little while, like it was a little long, or it just didn't start very quickly, I was like, okay, like I use that for feedback to write better books.
Exactly.
And so if people like thought that a book I wrote was like it was slow, and they say that in a review, I'm like, okay, I need to write a much quicker. I need to get to the point of the book much quicker than when I usually did, and I think that I've done that. Reading Vince's book, but also based on some of the reviews and feedback I've gotten from other people. So that's all I would say. But I would also kind of go back to the idea that we're all creating content. We're doing stuff. Nick's doing the Punch Right magazine. So I'm with all what's going on right now in our society, I'm optimistic because we figured out that it's on us. Like no one else is coming. We are going to be the people who are going to do stuff and make the change.
We are making history.
Yeah, and it's not trying to be like egotistical, but like
no.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're just if all that I do is just inspire someone else to come up with something that ends up inspiring people to move in the direction that I'm wanting, then that's great. That's what the role some men play. Like everybody has got to know their role in history, or at least on the stage of life. To use another example, but that's kind of my attitude toward this whole thing, is that even if whatever is going on around us, we understand what we need to do.
We are the vanguard.
Yeah, we're on the vanguard, and we're my mindset is create new content, create new art, create new culture, because stop trying to preserve something that's already dead.
Absolutely, Bacon. Thank you. The $3 and eats. Is that like a 38?
308.
He says, I hate to interrupt, but can you plug my stuff? Well, I could, but you're not.
What is your stuff there?
Exactly.
Sounds a little interesting. Plug my
You're
stuff.
neither a woman nor a local,
Yeah,
so I'm afraid I cannot.
Exactly. We can't plug you up. We're not plugging you up there with any kind of puppet mouth. Sorry.
Well, while you're waiting on his follow up, just let me throw out there that starting in 2021 with Volume 2 of Punch Riot, when you subscribe even at the basic level, you're going to get one magazine a month. You're also going to get access to the to Punch Riot Theater, which will be one or possibly two audio performances per month, just depending on, who's available for voice acting and how many scripts we've got and where we're at with those. But there'll be at least one audio performance a month. And, in addition to the biggest dicks, which we'll continue with that series going forward. And the script for episode 2 is almost completed. There's also another series that's going to be a little bit more intersexual dynamics related with kind of a covert superhero who helps dudes who are getting canceled by feminists and other entities who are down on them for traditionally masculine virtues or behaviors. So that's another little series that we're going to be starting in January or February. And then also any independent radio scripts that people send in, we're going to do those too. And then as far as the magazine goes, if you like writing, if you want to write, we're not looking for perfection and we're not looking for literature here. What we're looking for is a unique voice, something edgy and something that makes some kind of impact or says something in a fresh way, whether you're writing nonfiction, whether you're writing poetry, or whether you're writing fiction. And so, especially now, there's never been a better time to just possibly get yourself published in admittedly a small circulation little magazine at the moment. But we'll work with you on, polishing things up or refining your ideas or, clarifying them as we need to. But if you want to if you want to start doing that, and that's something you've always, kind of fancy doing, we want to at least have the opportunity to look at what you're doing and maybe we can work together. So, go ahead and write something up and send it in. We'll go from there possibly. So hit us up.
Cool. Yeah. Nick, pardon me. Nick is a very good, he's very professional. His communication is very quick. His emails responses are lightning fast, and you'll definitely get what you pay for. So highly professional, very good editing, and so nothing but good things to say. Sadly, nothing but good things to say about Mr. Nick August. Yes, I want to say something bad, but I can't think of anything right now. I'll get back to you guys on that.
I am a king, the king of all media. So
the king of the pimp of something.
The pimp of something. The pimp of something.
Pimp of something. Yes.
By the way, Nick, if you need more voice variety on your teleplays, I'm game. If you need some more voice.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Anybody who's interested in possibly doing some voice acting on any of our future episodes, just send an email to punchriot@gmail.com and let me know you're interested. And then I'll follow up with you at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
And it's well worth the experience. I can tell you that now. It was a lot of fun recording The Biggest Dicks Part 1.
Absolutely. And you know what the best part about it is? The outtakes.
Absolutely.
They were really fun.
They were
it was a lot of fun doing that shit.
That first rehearsal was pretty damn good. That was fun.
Well, you know what the best part about it is? You missed the first half hour because you forgot to turn the record button on.
It was an authentic quality. You see, it's this avant-garde kind of thing where we, in media res is a literary trope for a reason, Vince.
That's
So
right.
we have to start off with, trust me, it's all intentional. Well, we forgot to.
No, that was not intentional. No, don't even try it.
No. Lean into the mythology of creating new content.
Sounds like a minutia of bullshit to me. No.
Yeah, pretty
Pretty much.
It's all minutia.
Yeah, that was just all shit right there.
Until this year, I've never published anything. I've never produced anything. I've never directed anything. So yeah. So there's a
pimp of something.
There is, yeah, that's right. I'm the pimp of something, but we don't know what.
That's right.
That's right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I have to tweet that shit out. Yeah. All right. So
3 hours.
It is 12:11 here on the East Coast, the best coast of the nation. Fuck
Better
you,
believe
Fuck you, West Coast people.
The Gulf Coast, baby.
Midwest.
Why Midwest?
Gulf Coast.
Midwest, but I'm in the
Who
Eastern.
thinks about the Midwest?
Yeah, we're
Fly
just
over
flyover
state.
state. Yeah, right.
That's right. All right. I have some shit to take care of, so we're going to sign off now. Everyone, I want to wish you a happy new year. It's been a fucked up 2020, but we're all here. We're all surviving. We're still thriving. We're still moving forward and doing our shit, as you've listened to and hopefully taken to heart things that we've said here in the chat. I hope you move forward into 2021 with good intentions and good fortune. So there you go. If not, then fuck you. Yeah. So we're going to sign off. Keep that lead flying down range. Keep those home fires burning. Don't take any wood nickels. And always, always watch Masculine Geek.
Peace.